Now Sweeney, Dwayne Sweeney! Sweeney's over!
Can you please hand it over to your captain, Dwayne Sweeney?
Welcome to Real Tales with Sweens, proudly brought to you by Fish City Hamilton. Fish City has been servicing the Waikato's fishing, boating and outdoor needs for over 30 years. And now with the help of their online store, their great range of products and outstanding customer service is available across New Zealand. This episode, I sit down with Aaron Stiles. Many of you will remember Azza from a previous episode. A lot has changed since, and from starting out as Instagram pen pals, we have now become great mates. During this episode, Azza really opens up about the journey he and his brand, Just Another Fisherman, have been on. And as you will hear, he and the brand are in a great space. I just want to take a quick moment to give credit to Azza for the work he has put into creating such a strong community around the brand. A community that I'm personally stoked to be a part of. He has used the clothing brand to connect the community of like-minded people to highlight the importance of connection and passion. Fishing for many of us is more than a hobby. It's often a tradition that has been passed down, and for most of us, it's an escape from our everyday pressures. So Azza, I thank you for highlighting this and reminding us that fishing is about so much more than catching. For all you listeners, Azza and the team at JAF have kindly provided a 15% discount code to be used on their online store for any full price JAF products. The code is RealTales23, so same spelling as the podcast and then the numbers 23. Simply use the discount code before checking out of their online store. The team at Good George also have a 15% discount available for all you listeners. Just use the code RealTales before checking out of their online store. As always, the show notes will be available on the Real Tales with Sweens Instagram and Facebook pages, as well as the website realtaleswithsweens.com. The website will also have all your links to listen on your favourite platform. Lastly, I want to say a special thank you to Aaron for coming on, mate. It was great to catch up and great to connect, and I'm so stoked that I can share this with all of you. So join me as we catch up with Aaron Stiles. So what do we want to start with?
You can,
well, as escape, like a good starting point, and then sort of let it flow from there.
Yeah, what I've been up to, Angles Escape.
Yeah.
Well, I guess see how I've been, then Angles Escape, and then just flow from there and keep life, business, family, balance.
Yeah, and we'll make sure
mental health, the tan way that New Zealand's going.
Yeah.
Where everyone's too scared to prop people up.
Yeah. Well, that I like that when you mentioned that the other day, because I just don't understand it, why we don't celebrate people more often.
Yeah.
You know? Like, yeah, it's weird.
Like,
or we do surfacely, but
yeah,
or social media.
Like, I think
like people,
like especially in fishing. Oh, we can talk about this. Like, I'm quite happy to talk about it. Like, I think one thing I took away from Anglers Escape, and this is what I'm trying to achieve, is I'm lucky that people kind of shared it for me. You know, like shared it, which is good for organic growth for JAF. But just people being proud of people they met and the fish they caught together, and you know, so they're creating this big bubble community instead of hiding. Like, I felt like 5 years ago everyone kind of hid on their Instagrams.
Yeah,
we've been quite lucky to meet a lot of people now where they're all getting together and they're proud to be their friends, and you know, like they're proud to do shit together, and it's not a big competition. It's actually like something we all love together. Yeah. So it's been pretty cool. I think I've been proud of it anyway. Yeah. Kind of seeing that kind of nature of people being stoked. And Anglers Escape's a great platform for it. And it's like having the right kind of people around, and
Yeah, because what I really enjoyed was watching, like, through that with the social media afterwards, like people posting things up, and you start following each other because you meet, you sort of meet each other and whatnot, but then the posts go up and the comments and the genuine fizz and stoke, like, because you've been there and you've been in the group, like if you're sometimes looking from the outside in, you kind of see things like that, and it's like, I wonder if they actually are genuinely stoked for them about that fish or about that try that they scored or something like that. But when you've actually been there and you see the personal interaction with all the guys, then it is genuine stoke, you know.
And it generally makes you want to keep doing cool shit and post your stuff and be stoked about what you're doing, and and it makes you like, I guess a lot of people just strive to want to feel, feel good that they're doing good, but also feel that they got support to someone say, fuck yeah, it was great, like it's awesome, fucking great fish, great to meet you, fucking amazing trip. And fuck, that just oozes my energy levels to do it over and over again. Yeah,
well, because with the Muzz's Kingy, and then I don't know how many people I've showed his Instagram post to, like, everyone's like, oh, you went away fishing. I was like, yeah, check this out. And I'm on my Instagram, and like, they're not even showing, like, I caught a nice kingfish, like, probably my best kingfish I've ever caught for the circumstances. Like, I've caught one heavier, but I'm pretty certain it wasn't heavier. I think the scales might have been a bit dodgy, because this fish looked a lot bigger than the fish that I originally caught that was bigger. But it was like, I was more stoked to show people. I was like, you wouldn't believe it, bro, this fella Muzzer, like, he's the man, like, such a good
and
dude.
Little boat.
Yeah, little boat, and he's just out there, and like that, he's only caught one on a live bait before, and
then all of a sudden he's strictly stick baiting,
Yeah, and then he caught 3 in a row, like 22 kilos, 28 kilos, and then 40, probably, the big one, or 38 to 40. Well, yeah.
It is recording?
Yeah, it is recording. Sweet. I've just had it, like, going, checking the audio levels and that.
But, you know that he said that he reckons that live bait that he fed that kingy to would have won the comp. Kawa.
Yeah, that's what he said. He goes, bro, you should have seen the size of the kawa I put on.
He could have knocked Brownie off his kawa spot by, imagine that, taking kingy out and kawa out.
Yeah, back to back in
back to back
2 minutes. Yeah. It's been a very, very cool journey, Angler's Escape, for me personally.
No, it's been fun. It's been, I'm not sure if people have heard about it, but it's kind of, it all started because COVID hit. And
we might as well just carry on there.
Yeah. Welcome. It happened because do you want to tell people what we're talking about?
Yeah, actually. Alright, so, for everyone listening, you probably caught, I don't know how much of that initial little chat I would have put in, but I probably would have put some of it in there. So, welcome back, Aaron. Yeah.
Welcome. Thanks, bro. Thanks for having me.
Nah, thanks for coming down too, making your time available. Busy man, and it was pretty. We were meant to do this podcast sort of leading into Angler's Escape, which is something that we're gonna start off with and talk about, and then we're gonna talk a lot about, I just guess how Az has been and the brand in terms of JAF, and it's a very changing climate that we're kind of living in now, and retail and the rest of it. So I always really enjoy catching up with Az and talking to Az. We have some great conversations on the phone and that, and I really enjoy your company, bro, so I'm really looking forward to
you might go to for a long trip up north, eh? Usually get an hour conversation in with Sweeney. So where are you now? Oh, Whangarei. Where are you now? Bay of Islands.
Yeah, I seem to have a bit of a knack at getting people to talk for long periods of time.
It's healthy. It's
good. Yeah. I also enjoy a yarn, and no doubt we're gonna. Well, if you've listened to this before, then you'll well and truly know that. But I guess welcome back, Az, and wicked to have you on. And I really enjoyed the first one we did, and sorry to all those listeners out there, the audio was a little bit off, but we're
a bit excited, wanting to hang out outside around the fire after catching the marlin on the critter collector.
We were buzzing and
a bit fizzed up.
Yeah, but in saying that too, the reason I guess some people have asked me, like, oh, why did you put it out, like, with knowing the audio was like that? And I was like, well, it's called Real Tales with Sweens. Like, it was real, and that's what it was. And it wasn't ideal, but you still listen closely. Like, there's so much good stuff in that, and I just kind of felt like the whole conversation that we had was awesome, and I wanted to share that as much as I could.
Well, that for me, that was a pretty, as you know, I was the first marlin on my boat and got to experience it with you, which is phenomenal, and then have an amazing day the next day as well. But we were just living on life, eh? We were just like, first time kind of really hanging out. I don't think we even had that many beers. We're just really enjoying company and had a great day marlin fishing, and yeah, we're just fucking fizzing, eh? It was amazing. It was pretty cool. And it just started just such an awesome relationship, but you know, it was the first part of just kind of me and your relationship with JAF and going from Instagram pen pals to actual mates.
Yeah, it's actually been quite a common saying that, eh? Since that was mentioned on the podcast. There's a lot of Instagram
pen pals, eh? And they're all kind of oozing into meeting people, and I guess that's leading into like what Anglers Escape's all about.
Yeah. Do you want to start? Well, we might as well just go into that, and just sort of Anglers Escape for, I think probably a few of the listeners would have obviously been there, and there's probably a few others that kind of probably sit on the fringe and might have had a friend that's attended or been there, and if not, probably have seen something on Instagram from the brand itself or from people that are aligned to the brand. So I know personally I've had a lot of people message me wanting to get on that trip, and they're like, oh man, how do I come to Anglers Escape and whatnot, and I guess it's probably really good to kind of explain how it all sort of came to be, and then people get a good understanding about, you know, sort of what it is and where it sort of sits in our world. Originally started, well, I think this year's our third year, so first year would have been 2020 or 2021, 22, 21. Would have been in the middle of COVID, and originally I've been organising fishing trips through JAF, just mainly to get like-minded anglers together and go and do some cool trips. And we were originally supposed to be going to Swain's Reef on the Great Barrier Reef on Big Reality Charters, I think it's called. And you fish on little 4-metre tenders. Yeah. We had 21 anglers going over. Sick.
And I'd organised the kind of whole trip and all the flights, and everyone would booked and paid, and COVID hit. We had to cancel the whole thing and go through the process of refunding all the anglers, and a bit disappointing, but it was what it was. And so I was desperate to kind of rekindle that kind of wanting to go on a mission. So I'd been up at Rangapura a couple of times fishing with a few buddies and knew about the lodge, and hit up Leslie and Phil to see if we could run a small fishing kind of gathering. And I wanted it to be more gathering than a fishing competition, because I think for me fishing is about bringing people together and having time with your mates and having good time for mental health. So that's where the idea of Anglers Escape fishing for mental health came along, and the best way to align that was to try to raise a bit of money for a charity that helps people going through issues, and with the help of Bryce Casey and the great work he does with I Am Hope and Gumboot Friday, he came along on the first trip and fished 3 days with me on the Critter Collector and emceed prize giving, and I think you were there at the first year. I think we ended up with 36 anglers, and we had the whole lodge booked out, and it was very small. I think we raised around, we had great sponsors, of course, that had been supporters of the brand and great people, but we just had a blast. It was shit weather, but we had amazing raft ups, and just a lot of anglers that hadn't met before that were affiliated to JAF all came to one place for 3 days. And it was just the yarns on the back of the transom after each day and meeting that new person, and I think just everyone linked up really nice, and it kind of for me just showed the lucky reach that we kind of had with the brand and putting together a whole bunch of anglers. And coming into the third year, I think the first year we raised $3,000, which we were super stoked about on quick thing, and we've kind of doubled that, and we doubled that again this year, raising I think
just over 14.
Yeah, just over $14,000 for Gumboot Friday and I Am Hope, and that was between, I think that was 75 anglers. But for the whole purpose is to just bring people together, have time out, And also just join a few of the kind of spiderweb links that we have within the brand of marlin fishing, snapper fishing, and all these people that have been affiliated to the brand for the last sort of 5 or 6. Well, some of the people are as deep as 10 years, like Mark Collins and my good mates Bergie, and just the nature of everyone getting together. I think we were just chatting about it, like how proud they are to share being there and stuff. Like, it's super humbling experience, and I'm super honoured to be able to put it on for the guys because they seem to love it.
Oh yeah, I think it's an understatement, bro. Like, yeah, it's like back to that sort of connection side of it. There, I think for me personally, like we spoke about it, you know, before talking about being Instagram pen pals. Like pretty much at that first year, everybody was an Instagram pen pal. A lot of these guys I'd seen through their affiliation to the brand, you know, like the Henson brothers, Mark, I'm just trying to, you know, like Finn, Henry, like these type of guys. I'd sort of seen them, and George with Hurricane Express and Bergie and that.
Yeah.
I'd all seen them from a
Jeremy
distance.
Coombs
and I'm just like, it's quite interesting because you build I think through social media, you kind of build a profile on the person, right?
Yep.
Like you look at their
Well, it's their
Instagram.
articulated profile because they get to choose what they're giving you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like, it was actually really nice to get there and see how genuine their profile through social media is, because you see is what you get, and that's one thing I did actually want to sort of give kudos to the boys is that everybody that I've met through the brand and that I've met through Anglers Escape are really genuine dudes that I really, really enjoy spending time with. Like, it's, you know, everyone that's listening that's been there know that I'm a blast in the tent, trying to talk to everybody and pull out as many stories as I can from everyone, just because I genuinely enjoy their company.
Yeah, and it's just so nice to be around people that are kind of, and I think we're taking away the competitive side of it. It's just like you're there to hang out and enjoy the thing we've been doing. Well, I started the brand around fishing, so you know, like if it was a rugby festival or like a yoga retreat or anything, like we're there to do something we enjoy, regardless if you wake up at 5 a.m. or you just actually want to have time out because you're away from your kids and your wife, and you actually get to discuss that with the lads. There's a lot of dads there, husbands, like hardworking, like business owners, and they're all just having a bit of time out.
Yeah.
But in the same time, meeting new friends that all go through the same issues, that they, you know, they might be your next buddy that give you a call. And I know, like, all the way down to, like, a lot of references to the Naki boys. Like, they've become a lot of good buddies with a few of the other lads now, and it's just fucking awesome to see. Like, and I'm just, it's just, and for me, it just builds another platform to JAF that I'm so fucking proud of, because a lot of effort goes in, but to see that shit, like, you can't buy it.
No, you can't.
It needs to happen by people being together.
Yeah. Well, me and Brownie talked about also the quality of angler that is aligned to the brand, you know what I mean? Like, holy, we were, and Bryce Casey spoke about it actually at prize giving, and obviously not being there on the first day, and seeing the group chat, and just he's sitting at work, you know, obviously he had to work that first day, so he turned up second day, right?
Yeah.
And
to
then,
like 30 fishing news covers.
Yeah, like literally, hey, like just like look at the group chat, and Brownie's like, oh my god, like he's flicking through his phone, he's like, look at this, bro, and it's like, whoa, fish of a lifetime, oh, fish of a lifetime, oh, fish of a lifetime, and it's like, whoa, look at that king of that Muzzlecoot, oh, Jordan got a what, an 84 and an 81,
we had double 85s, we had tying first place, like, but they had a good, like, everyone was in good spirits, and we had a nice day's fishing, which was the first time for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's been stuck in the harbour the first.
Yeah, it's kind of been like a carbon, each
quite identical.
Anglers Escape, pretty identical. The first day, everyone's been, well, this time we got to venture far and
like
wide.
North Cape.
Yeah, North Cape.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of boys went to North Cape. Myself and Brownie fished the islands again, and we had some awesome fishing. It was wicked. And then, got the front row seat to watch Muzza just absolutely destroy the
That
Kiwis.
would have been a vibe, man. Like, cause it's when we'd shot some footage of Mark on my GoPro and stuff. but like I could imagine that vibe when everyone's hooting and everyone.
Yeah.
It's so fun, man.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Because it's not competitive. It's like
Nah.
you're actually there as a
Yeah.
like because you don't care who catches the biggest one. You just want to be a part of the whole
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, well, that's one thing that I'll give credit to Brownie to is like his passion for capturing moments, like
Yeah.
with his photography, and Jonesy was the same, like Nick Jones.
Oh yeah, because he was on Dawn Raid.
Yeah, he was
and
on
stuff.
Dawn Raid, and they were there too. Dawn Raid,
Dawn Raid, yeah.
Dawn Raid, yeah.
Big
And
extreme.
then like their ability to with their skills with the lens to be able to capture the images. You know, like Jonesy got some great photos of me and Brownie with my kingfish, and Brownie got some wicked ones of Muzz and Leaf.
Oh, that one with Brownie, like he's just hooting behind you.
Yeah. So I was like, that kind of thing adds another layer to that community as well. Like these are your now friends. Like Jonesy, I only met Jonesy last year at Anglers Escape actually.
Yeah.
And then have had limited interaction with them from then to maybe a few messages here and there on Instagram, and then obviously see them again there this year. But then they're just as stoked as we are on the fish, and he's getting awesome photos and he emails them to me, and I'm super
I think
grateful
that's
for
that whole thing is like that respect for each other and taking a little bit of time out of your life to capture that guy's moment. Like I think that shows a real support to each other, because usually oh yeah, you caught a fish, sweet.
Yeah.
But he might catch a fish of a lifetime. You're going to hold, like Brownie did it for when I caught my
Yeah.
marlin.
Yeah.
He took time out of his marlin fishing to come and take a photo. So that whole thing of where you take time out of your life to appreciate what other people are achieving, it's so good to see. Because the moments grow bigger. The integration between the people grow bigger because that person supported you in your moment.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome. I think and you want that. Take time out. Support your mate to catch his fish or drive the boat or not,
Yeah.
I think
it's interesting, like fishermen and boaties have a different thing in them with that, I think.
Yeah.
And I'll try and explain this is on the way up, obviously there was a few mishaps, Mark Collins got rear-ended on the motorway.
His engine was in someone else's engine bay.
Yeah, and then me and Brownie's spring broke in the trailer, and we're in Lang's Beach, and then he had to go to Dargaville to get the parts, but there's the local marine guy, Jackson Brown, he comes down. Literally, hadn't been raining. It starts bucketing down, and he's standing there in the rain, underneath, trying to get the trailer drivable just to get it back to his workshop. So then when Brownie comes back, he can do all the work in the workshop.
How did you meet the dude?
I don't know. I think Brownie might have contacted him on the phone, but didn't get him. Got someone else, and then obviously someone else in the workshop because they're basically, oh well, we can't help you. Don't have the parts. And then he was obviously got relayed information, and then was like, oh, I'll shoot down and see if we can help. And he went down and was like, oh yeah, so we'll get it back. And I explained that Brownie had shot off to Dargaville to get the parts, and then so he rang him and he's like, yep, sweet, just come bring them back to my workshop, we'll do the work there. So he's there with his kids, and then by the time I think Brownie got back, might have been 7, 6:45 or something at night.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there in the workshop with him, and he's just doing a bit of work on the computer. His kids are upstairs because his wife's at netball. And but it's that boatie thing, if a fellow boatie's in trouble, you drop tools and you go and help. And it's it's like that respect that fishing in the ocean, I think, kind of brings to that kind of community. And I think we all kind of get brought up in it through, I know to do that because I've seen my dad do it. You know, I've seen
help
somebody
out,
or just even a stranger. I remember as a kid driving along one day and seeing a trailer with a flat tire, and then Dad pulls over, and I'm like, oh, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, do you know that guy, Dad? And he's like, no. And then he's a boatie, Dad's a boatie. He knows shit, this is going to be sort of hard work, and we end up going back into town to get him a spare tire and run it back out. But it's just kind of what you do. Yeah.
But I think generally majority of public will help. I was like back in, I think it would have been 5 or 6 years ago, I was driving to catch up with Mark Collins up in far north, fishing out of Whangaroa, and I was driving solo and blew a tyre on my single axle.
Oh, yeah.
Coming into Kaio, you know, when you dip down the hill. Yeah. So no phone coverage, no nothing.
Yeah.
11:30 at night, and this, like a Holden Commodore or something, turned up behind me. 2 dudes got out. They changed my tyre in like 5 minutes.
True.
Like, yeah, boom, and they just gave him a six pack and gave him a high five. Yeah. Absolute legends.
Yeah.
But like, you know, they just stopped because, you know, I was like, I must have just like clipped a little drop out of the road or something. And, but just, yeah, heaps of good people around there that, you know, a lot of the time you will get driven past, but you know, you'll get that back in spades in life, man. If you stop and help people out, or, you know, give people benefit of doubt, or give them time, it will come back in spades.
Yeah.
And if you have that belief of good juju, like, you go like, just wait till it will happen.
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel that's how I look about a lot of my life. Like, if I put effort in to put together Anglers Escape and everyone has good times, like, it will come back in spades in some way, shape or form. Because I think, you know, like, you create good. Creating good people together, you're creating support networks, you're meeting new friends, bringing back together. That's what I'm so proud of. And, of course, raising the money to... and my mates catch good fish.
Yeah, well, look at the good juju on the first day. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? All the anglers.
Imagine we had 3 good days.
Yeah, I know. Like, I can't even fathom if we had had 3 good days, you know? Like, I remember just sort of sitting there, because that was the first time we've had proper glamour weather.
Yeah.
Like, it was flat.
But it was still southerly. Like, I wouldn't say it was like, you know, like, it was.
Yeah, it got a little bit sort of snotty in the middle of the day, eh? There was a little bit of breeze.
We were up Henderson. Me and Hoodlum were fishing up Henderson's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like there? Did
That's
you get
right.
a bit of wind in the middle of the day?
There's a little bit of swell still, even
a
little bit of that easterly,
that
southeasterly or the easterly swell pulled around.
Yeah.
It was pretty good most of the day.
Yeah.
But that afternoon was clear.
Oh yeah, I couldn't believe. And then it was just there, and we saw some birds on the water, and we went over.
Oh yeah, we missed that.
Throw a soft bait out, and then I caught like quite a nice trevally. Should have measured it. It wouldn't have won, but.
Did you say before you didn't measure one fish?
No, I didn't measure any. Brownie measured
You're
my
there
fish
just
for
for
me.
the life.
Yeah, I'm just there to like yarn to people. But then Brownie did the app for me. That's why I had a 126 centimetre Kawai.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I had to ring up Aussie about that one. Kawai don't grow that big.
No. I was like, I would have won top angler. But yeah, and we just sort of stopped there, saw some birds, and we stopped through, and I caught like quite a nice trevally, and then Brownie catches like a 74 centimetre snapper.
Of course he does.
Like, yeah, of course he does. I was like, yeah, it's kind of the story of the trip. It's just like, oh yeah, I'll get a nice snapper, and then Brownie casts, bang, gets a bigger one. I'm like, oh. Yeah.
Nah.
But it was and we're just sort of sitting there, and it was just like full glass off, and we're like, how is it going to turn to 35 knots tomorrow? Like, the ocean has a good way of humbling you out.
Yeah. Well, that whole peninsula did with blackouts and power cuts and mud and. But like, the thing is, you make it work. Like, you kind of have to. Like,
I think that's the best thing about having it like booked in the calendar, and you know, like I think everybody understands that it's a great honour to be included in the group and to be invited, that you set it aside. And I think because of the experience we had that first year, when the weather was crap, the fishing is still good. Like, the harbour fishing is
amazing.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
But even if it wasn't, like, you'd still, like, I without a doubt now.
I could hang in I could hang in the cabin with you and 5 of your mates any day and yarn about life for 3 days.
We'll just talk about fishing. Yeah, you can't go fishing.
The way that we invite as well, like, I think that'd be the same with like your mates asking about how you get invited. And one, we're limited with space, and also limited to just how much big, you know, like, the bigger you make it, the more control you have to put on it. Like, but what I do and what I've done since I started is I invite skippers. I don't invite individual anglers.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, it makes it a lot easier for me. So, like, if it's a pair, like, a lot of our sponsors come. Otherwise, it's peers inviting, and then I'm meeting their friends.
Yeah.
And I think that's the nicest way to meet people, because you know at least that a good percentage of the people you know pretty well, and then you'll meet their friend, and if they're mates with him, you're probably going to be mates with him.
Yeah.
And and then that's that effect that keeps going. And also it's just limited how much space we have at Rangapura where we've been running it. And there is a balance of like how big you want to make it. Like, I didn't really talk to you much.
No, we didn't.
Like, we talk, like, because I'm usually quite busy running around like a headless chicken and fucking making sure everyone's okay and the complex is sweet. But I don't get to see heaps of, like, I didn't talk to Waldo much this year.
Yeah.
But, and the more people that come, the less I probably will talk to them. Yeah. But I know they have a good time.
Yeah.
Like, they send me a message afterwards and they're happy. I'm like super stoked.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a hard one to kind of a bit more people. We might be able to raise more money.
Yeah.
So you just kind of weigh up all each year. We have made it a little bit bigger and a bit bigger. We'll just have to make a decision on what we're going to do for 2014, which will be I think the last year at Rangapura.
Yep.
And then I've got to look to new locations and
that's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Hey, just because of what it provides, because it's fishable in any conditions.
Yeah, and having a cab, like a lodge
and good fishing.
Yeah, lodge that we can launch out the front, and it's a lot safer with travel, and there's a lot of benefits to it.
Yeah.
We can have the marquee there with the tents. Everyone's got their cabins, and then there is good accommodation local for everyone else that kind of attend the comp. And also just trying to, I don't want to make it too big where it's hard to make it not as personalised with like sort of the goodie bags and some of the prizes we do and stuff like that, like the custom knives and plaques, and I still wanted to make it a little bit like boutique and kind of a little bit special, because otherwise it just becomes another fishing comp. It's not about the fishing comp.
No.
The fishing comp's 4 prizes.
Yeah.
The raffle's 40.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
it just makes it fun for people.
Yeah. Like, I just, like, because when people have kind of asked, because I obviously, like, still playing club rugby, didn't play on that weekend, the boys are like, oh, where are you going to be? And I was like, oh, I'm at and then I'm like, I don't never say fishing comp, because to me it's not a comp. I'm like, I'm at an event, and they're like, what kind of a fishing event? They're like, oh, like a comp. Nah, it's not really a comp. And they're like, well, what is it? And I was like, oh, I don't. Yeah, it's just like a group of us who go up and they're like, oh, like a boys trip. I was like, nah, it's not like a boys trip. And it was like, it's
kind of is a little bit of a big boys trip.
It's a big boys trip, but like, it is like a retreat, almost like a retreat. Like, we kind of, I think that first year, I think we kind of all surprised ourselves on how much we actually relaxed and opened up. With each other.
Oh, totally.
Like, I remember coming back and talking to some friends and talking to my wife and stuff, and it was just like, man, it was like a men's mental health retreat. Like, we all talked about our shit that we're dealing with on a different level and different conversations. It's not like we all grabbed the mic and stood up and spoke, but I might have sat with Mark and opened up to him about, some stuff I've been struggling with the kids, and then he's like, oh yeah, the same thing with Finn, and I was like, oh, that sounds like Cooper, and like,
do you think that comes because we are in a space longer than, say, like a fishing comp's usually you go to briefing and you disappear.
Yeah.
And you don't 100%. See each other to prize giving. So you spend like, 2 hours together?
Yeah.
You're literally spending, well, with some of the younger guys, you're spending more hours with them.
Yeah.
But you're literally spending 3 days with these guys.
Yeah.
Especially the ones on site.
Yeah.
And you've been spending 3 days a row with them for the last 3 years. So you've created these relationships, whether it's like Jimmy Ham from hunting.
Well, I see them more than my bloody groomsmen,
Yeah, well, like, they've become these, and then you've grown bigger relationships with them where you'd start talking about your family, your business, your life. Like, we've all been going through COVID.
Yeah.
Like, New Zealand's not a stress-free country to live in right now with just everything that's going on. So, like, it just gives you, like, we have fishing in common. We seem to be pretty like-minded, so we end up in this space that we get to just, like, feed off each other. And you get tired, and like, because, you know, you have probably a few too many beers, but what that does is, I reckon, also creates your tolerance for people as well. And you learn what balance you have for people, and whether it's your best mate or a new guy, on how they adapt and stuff, and you learn a lot. One, that you can take home and learn and apply to your life, or two, that you might talk to another buddy about and say, oh, I met this guy that's kind of similar shit that you're going through. And you can adapt it to helping your buddy or helping a friend, or there might be a mate that you just end up fucking being on the phone next day because they're just fucking awesome. And fuck, that's like, for me, like the best part. And that's what builds, like, for me, JAF is a community of guys that have been fishing together for quite a long time. Like, we don't let people go often. I don't think, you know, you can tell if they've been around and been pretty loyal and stuck with the group, they'll probably stay for a very long time. Like the Luke wasn't there, but, you know, Brownie, Luke, Mark, Bergie, like, they've been a part of it for a long, long time. And just having, you know, like, and they become friends, like friendships, and, like, you know, mates that you can ring and talk about life and business, and it's not all about fishing. Fishing's just our platform. We're gonna
that starts the conversation.
Yeah, we still got to sell clothes, but
But
I think it just gives the brand a little bit more depth than just being a clothing brand.
It
And
does.
I want to still enjoy my life and go fishing with my mates. That's why I started it.
And it's quite interesting, like we were talking before off air, and about how you associate your personal fishing to how the brand goes, you know? And like that, you know, like if you don't have a good fishing, you know, sort of season or whatever, then you're like, oh, the brand's going shit. But it's like, from the outside looking in, a lot of people will look at the brand and go, shit, those dudes know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Because of the community that's based around it. Like, it's a very, like we spoke about day one of Anglers Escape this year, the amount of bloody, you know, New Zealand fishing news covers.
5 snapper over 80 centimetres. Like, I think there was, like 6 fish over 120 centimetres for kingies. And then the trep section was up to like 73 centimetres. And that's in the harbour fishing. I think with that sort of side is like, one, I think that I talk to my wife about it heaps. We do it with work as well. I think if, you know, if you care, you're always going to judge yourself against, you know, other things. So like, I am a fisherman. Like, my job is to own a clothing brand and a production company. I want to do well.
Are a fisherman.
I'm a fisherman. You've fished with me. My buddies have fished with me. I fish, and I like everything from surf casting to marlin fishing. Like, I did 90 Mile with my good mate Willis, and we spent a lot of time together just yarning and just enjoying the basic fundamentals of fishing. But if I'm not doing well because I own a brand that has a lot of good quality fishing within it, then I kind of like, you know, like you're judging yourself compared to how well you're doing. It's got nothing to do with how well the brand's doing. But it's more a personal factor of like, oh, I didn't catch any marlin this year. Or I haven't caught any good snapper. But fishing's a phase thing. Like, you can go through stages of not catching fuck all. And then you come back and have an epic season. So, and my wife always tells me, it's like, you know, like, your balance is pretty good. You live pretty good compared to a lot of guys, you know, like, but I think if I didn't care, then I wouldn't have the drive I do to make the brand good and also be a good, you know, enjoy what I do and try.
And the alignment wouldn't be there with the brand, you know what I mean?
It wouldn't be authentic.
You can't be called just another fisherman because you are a fisherman. You know what I mean? It's not like some, I don't know, like, someone's like, oh, fishing's a cool phase at the moment, let's make a fishing label. And they're
it's
not
like
fisherman.
golfing's trending, let's make a golf brand. You know, like...
It'll work if you're a golfer.
Because you'll know how to touch those people that are fish, because you're a fisherman first. Or a golfer first. So you know what touches the golfer. But, if you're not a fisherman and then you try to start doing it, I just think the authentics, like, you can still do it. I just think that if you want to have... I really believe in authentic, and this is why I do kind of heritage style products. Like, I really like authentic kind of style branding. You've met me, you know how I dress and stuff. Like, I like that kind of product. Merinos, authentic, like I trust a lot of my like peers to be around for a long time.
Yeah.
Like I don't rotate to get the dude that caught the biggest snapper.
Nah.
I don't care if he doesn't post a fish on his Instagram for 2 years.
Yeah.
I still know what he's doing in his back end, and I
Yeah.
know he's authentic as shit.
Mm.
E.g., like people like Mark Willis.
Yeah.
Like, they don't post. They don't need to post.
Nah.
They're already living the fucking most authentic fishing lifestyle that you can. And, like, that's the most beautiful part. And there's not heaps of them around like that. But if you lift a few layers of their lifestyle of what they do and what drives them, or who's going for a cast after lunch, or who caught a 30-pounder surf casting, or caught bluefin with his 4-year-old son, like, there's only a few around.
Yeah.
Another true dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other ones that are like, fuck, that shit's rad.
Yeah.
And that's like, that's why they'd never, unless they decide to not be affiliated, like the other dudes that drive the authentic kind of side of it. And I don't think you can buy that shit.
No, you can't. And you can't fake it either.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Like, you are that way or you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, I've been lucky enough to spend, like, a lot of time with both of those guys because of Anglers Escape, and then create those relationships. Like, two very, very genuine people.
Yeah.
Like I said it earlier, a lot of genuine people at Anglers Escape, well, all of them, and I love spending time with all of them, but just using those two as an example, and actually 2 future guests on the podcast.
Yeah,
as well.
hopefully I heard.
Yeah. So Mark's been like, sort of keen to do it for,
This is another push at him, eh?
Yeah, it's another push here, Mark. I think we pushed it on the last one too. But, like, I was lucky enough to fish with Mark this year, and Mark's a really interesting dude, and, like, I can't wait to do the podcast for that reason, because, like, we were talking about it, he's quite a lot younger than us, but he's kind of that
Been
person
10
that you
years.
almost look up to him.
Yeah.
Like, just because the way he holds himself is, like, the way he thinks about things, he's very calculated, and I was lucky enough to fish with him this year, and we had a good day, and we caught a marlin, came out on my boat, and I had a guy that works at Fish City on the boat, and he caught his first marlin with us, and me and Mark just talked all day, and I was asking him a whole bunch of questions, and he says, like, oh, what am I going to talk about on the podcast? And we literally fished the whole day, and I don't think we stopped.
You probably
talking.
did an 8-hour podcast.
Yeah,
out the
like
boat.
we did, and then Dan even said to me a few days later, when I seen him in at Fish City, and he was like, bro, like, that was the best day fishing ever. He goes, oh, I caught my first marlin, that was mean, but actually listening to you and Mark talk about fishing, I learned so much. He goes, man, that dude knows his shit, eh? And I was like, yeah, he's done it for so long, and he's a very calculated person, so he thinks about things, and he doesn't just do things for the sake of doing it. Like, if he's going to do it, he's going to do it properly.
Yeah, and he's thinking about, like, there's a lot of effort that goes into the back end. Like, he's had a good season. He tagged a double with his son, like his 5-year-old.
Yeah, I think he did that just before he came over.
And, but, he's very calculated. I think, like, for me, like, I come from a background of, like, graphic design. I'm not very mechanical, so I really look up to people that do shit that I don't do.
Yeah.
Like, for one, Mark's a boat builder, like, engineer through marine, like, skipper of a big boat, like, that shit inspires me. It's the same with Willis. Like, I documented Willis, I haven't put it out yet, but we've got a pilot boat documentary about his work down in the port in Taranaki, and it's just stuff that I find interesting, and that, I don't do it for a job. It's like the same as, like, I've always dreamed of, like, going to be a farmer for a year. Because it's not a, like, it's, it's physical work, but, like, it's so different to sitting at a desk every day. Like, I love the outdoors. But you know what I mean? Like, you have that, like, it inspires you, or you've got interest in what other people do.
Yeah.
Same with Bergie working in the orchard, or Bad Santa. Like, I heard he can make pretty much everything for Cullum and stuff on the boat. Like,
Bad Santa is, like, he is
real name Logie.
Yeah, he is Bad Santa. Like,
that dude was on this year too.
Yeah, bro. He lives.
He's another thinker, man. He's very similar to Mark.
Yeah, and he lives life the right way. Like, him
hugely.
and his partner, they literally work. He's got it. Like, he's very clever, and he's obviously very good at what he does. So he works in a job where he can basically dictate his hours and when he works. So he'll work hard, and he's got a rooftop tent, and him and his wife went and did the South Island for 6 months or 4 months or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
I
for a
think
long
Cullum
period
and
of
stuff.
time.
But I met those dudes. So I met Cullum through
Me,
you.
Yeah,
First year we came down here.
yeah, yeah.
And like I think I've
We
done.
went to the pub after we caught
Yeah.
the marlin.
Yeah, on the
yeah.
second day, eh? Because they'd come back from
Yes.
60-mile ground in
right,
the North
yeah,
Cape and
yeah.
drove through the night.
Yeah, it was.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And those
Yeah, it
boys
was Logie, Callum and Toddy, were on the
Yeah,
boat.
I think- yeah.
They got one that day too.
Yeah, we rang
worth
them. It was
the
like, how you
drive.
going? We're all hooked up.
Yeah, yeah.
But I met them through that and then invited them to the Anglers Escape. Now I've done missions to Waihow, raft ups. We've done raft ups at the Cavallis. Like they just become, and again, another thing from Anglers Escape, like met them, like a lot younger than me, but we've
Yeah.
all got common interests.
Yeah.
Like we've had massive raft up feeds and like, again, good lads, totally different lifestyle they live to I do
Yeah.
in Auckland, but that's what attracts me to it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
it's
I just,
interesting, eh?
yeah, like, and it's good for me because as a brand, like an authentic New Zealand brand, I need people like that to keep me
Yeah.
in my place, you know,
Yeah.
like to make sure that I'm like the brand suited
Appealing to.
Yeah. to real New Zealanders and
Yeah.
how people live, and it also branches out that we're quite diverse and like we're not just a Hauraki golf fishing brand. We've got friends all over.
Yeah.
I like fishing all over.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some absolute legends and
Yeah.
talented people.
Yeah, because me and Callum met through like common interests. Like we're both from Morrinsville, but played rugby together.
But you were even in the same team last year, this year?
Last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. We played for Tins Valley together last year, and we've played together for a long time now. I think 2014 might have been 15. Was the first year that me and Callum played together. So yeah, what's that? Going back 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like I remember because obviously I was playing professionally then, and was playing for Waikato and the Chiefs, and I'd been in Japan, and I came back, and I came back for a season, played for the Chiefs, and then played a few games of club for Morrinsville.
Yeah.
And Callum was playing, and he was a young fellow. It was his first year in the team, and I remember he asked me to go to his 21st, and I was like, I think I was 30. I was 20. Yeah, no, I was. I just turned 30 the year prior. And then I remember he sort of came up to me, and he's all sort of quiet and awkward, but like I've always been like very kind of open person and talk to
You can
everybody.
talk to anyone,
Yeah. So I guess like I didn't see them as, I'd never seen anybody as not a peer, we're in the same team. So straight away I'm like, well, we're on the same level and whatever, we're like teammates, we're mates, we do. And then it's like, oh, actually I got to remember, like I'm 10 years old, or nearly 10 years older than him. He's a kid, he's just come out of school kind of thing. And I remember he came up and he was all kind of awkward and like almost like an awkward kind of teenager, and I could tell he wanted to like sort of ask me something, but I thought it would have been to do with rugby. And he was like, oh, what are you doing on Saturday? And I was like next Saturday or something. And I was like, oh, we're playing Old Boys. And he's like, yeah, I know, but are you doing anything after? And I was like, oh, no, I don't think so. Why's that? And he goes, oh, do you want to come to my 21st? And I'm like, oh, yeah, bro, yeah, I'll come. And he's like, oh, true, you want to come? And I was like, yeah, I'll come. And then it was like, it was funny because I ended up going to the 21st, and he's actually like the same sort of friend group as my youngest brother.
Oh, yeah, because how many brothers you got? Two.
I got three.
Three brothers.
Youngers.
Yeah.
Younger brothers. So.
And you guys are, because he's Morrinsville.
Yeah, he's Morrinsville
Yeah,
as
so
well.
it's kind of pretty local.
Yeah, kind of pretty local, but my youngest brother's still quite a bit older than him as well, like maybe 4 or 5 years older. But yeah, we ended up like kind of similar kind of friend group and whatnot, and I went, and it was a real awkward kind of situation because I was like the old dude, but not old enough for the parents, but then like too old.
Stuck in the middle.
Yeah, I was like stuck in the middle, so I was like, do I hang out with the parents or do I hang out with the kids? Like, yeah, it was quite an interesting night, but it was all good. But that was sort of it, really. From there, he was sort of keen on fishing, and we talked about that, and then I was like, oh sweet, we'll go for a fish. Do you want to go? Like he really wanted to catch kingfish. He'd never caught one before, so we went out to Mare Island and got some cowies, went around the back, and we had a wicked day, like awesome session. Like he caught, I think his first king he caught was probably like 18 kilos, like a nice one, and then I think we caught maybe 3 over 20 kilos.
Shit.
Yeah, we had really good fishing. It just turned on in the afternoon, And yeah, we got dusted a few times, and it was good fun. And then from there it was
Mates.
yeah. And then I think it was the next year he came out marlin fishing with me. First day, never been before. And we caught a marlin first day on mini
What
chiefy.
boat? Oh, mini chiefy.
Yeah, on mini chiefy,
that's right,
yeah. And then he like a lot of people will laugh at this, but like Callum has always been really good with money. Like he
owns two.
Yeah, he owned two houses at this
Yeah.
stage. So we're 21. He's 21. I went to his 21st. He owned two houses. He had two rental properties. And I was just like, how the hell have you done this kind of thing, you know? But he'd done it, and he had two rental properties. I took him marlin fishing. We caught a marlin that first day. Awesome, real visual fish. Like, just seen it lit up, chasing the lure. And
Yeah.
I was all weird.
Like the one that will
The
keep
one,
you,
you know,
yeah.
the one that'll like hook you well and truly into the sport. He went and sold both his rental properties and bought a boat. So it was like
Is that driftwood?
That's drift. No, it was driftwood because his dad had another boat, and then they bought driftwood. Yeah, so they sold the other boat, and then Callum, so the old man put in half, and then he put the other half in, and they bought driftwood.
And those boys mission, man.
Oh yeah, he does some miles.
Yeah, they don't mind waking up like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. But I've had some cool, and that's that thing, like new groups, like the same with the Henson boys and like Henry, like George, the Harrick Express boys. Like I spent a lot of amazing trips with them, whether they end up being on JAF campaigns. That's the nice thing as well. I've met all these dudes that for a JAF campaign, it's like, hey guys, do you want to go fishing for 5 days? You just have to wear a JAF kit.
Yeah.
You know, like, I still feel bad about it because I'm like, well, you know, like, there's a like photographer and stuff, and then everyone's like, oh no, this is mean.
Yeah.
Get a free set of gears and get all paid trip. But I still feel like, you know, like for me, it's still work. Like we still need to achieve a goal.
Yeah.
But I've had some awesome dudes on those kind of trips as well, which have come from Anglers Escape or meeting along the way.
I think we talked about that on the last one too, on the last podcast we did, because we talked about Farmer and the poverty pack and how he caught the biggest fish.
Oh yes, that was it.
Yeah.
That was the Arataki trip.
Yeah.
And that was cool as well. Like we had like dudes from that campaign and that have started new fishing brands in New Zealand and the low cab guys, and we had them up at Anglers Escape, and we're doing a show with them at the boat show. And I think it's also about figuring out where we are in the community of the fishing community and the hobby, you know, the style of fishing we do, and we can all actually work together.
Yeah.
Because it kind of just creates such a big platform for ourselves.
What I've learned about like fishing, like in New Zealand, I suppose the more that I've become, sort of, I guess, like aligned with a few different like brands and
like
things.
Bonds and like
and
stuff like that.
Yeah, and stuff, and Kilwell and Daiwa, is that the industry is so small, but so big at the same time. You know, like it's a big market, but the industry is really small, and everyone's kind of intertwined. And what I've really kind of enjoyed, and it was something I actually talked to Matt about at Land and Sea, was like there's been a real cultural shift in fishing, and this like in terms of like at Land and Sea, I'll use that angler, the Daiwa Angler Talk as an example.
Yeah.
And I think I've mentioned on the podcast before, but having like NACR lures and OTL in the same place.
Yeah.
You
Like they're not in
standing side by side, and they've both produced, one-off lure, custom lure for the store. And I was like, you know, you go back 20 years ago, there's no way you'd have competing brands standing next to each other.
Nah.
It'd be a fight.
Yeah. And I think though, but like, I think it's a big props to like what Daiwa's done a lot in the way of, and it might have been timing of just what happened in the industry when things kind of shifted.
Yep.
But I think it's just whether it's timing and brand synergy and sponsor synergy and stuff like that with like Brownie and Daiwa and JAF and then like Land and Sea popping up on the industry where they're doing events and welcoming a lot more people in and actually focusing on special people like OTL and was it NCAL?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And just talking about like, you know, stoking, like proud of what New Zealanders are doing.
Yeah.
and they're proud instead of international brands, but like supporting local brands.
Yeah.
Like Matt gave us a huge opportunity there to do a few full capture
Yeah.
of like how JAF should look in a retail store,
Yeah.
instead of just being a range of products on the
Yeah, on
on a rack,
Yeah.
where you can't see the brand, you don't know
No.
what the brand's about and stuff like
No,
that.
you have to pull the t-shirt out to...
Yeah, and what I know Matt works about is like he wants to be a brand working with a brand, like Landon sees a brand working with another brand. So it's kind of like you're working together to kind of both he benefits, we benefit. Instead it's like, this is my brand, you don't get anything to
Yeah.
and they hide from it. And I think also with social media, you're so quick to market, you don't have to wait for the magazine to come out. So you might as well just get amongst it as much as possible.
Yeah.
And enjoy everyone in it. And it's kind of like, I think if you can do that and you can all communicate and work together, like everyone's going to win. And everyone's supporting each other.
Yeah.
No tall poppy syndrome, no nothing.
There's a lot
Everyone's-
of mutual respect, for
Yeah.
what people do. Like,
I feel in the group that, like, luckily enough at Anglers Escape, we haven't ever had an issue of, like, shitty. So you wouldn't get away with it, I think. I don't think there's enough dudes that it just wouldn't happen. But yeah, there's mutual respect for what the effort put in by everyone. And I guess with social media, if they've seen them, they know how much effort they put into their fishing. Because if you're a good fisherman, you put in time.
doesn't
You
have
can't
to by
be.
chance.
You don't buy a fish.
No.
You don't buy a sword at the back of the barrier.
No.
You can get a charter, but like it doesn't happen really that hard. So if you see the dudes like the low cab guys or the Jordans or all the top water stick bait land based guys, like they're putting in a lot of fucking effort.
Yeah.
They're putting in a lot of time and research to find out where the fish are, when they are, and also filming it. So like they all deserve respect.
Yeah.
And if
Well,
you can
it's like-
work together.
It's like Finn driving all the way through the night.
Yeah.
Gets here at 7 a.m. Rolls out to the garden patch, tags a sword, and then he's back in with the boys having lunch at 12:30, throwing soft baits into the wash. And I'm like, how good is that?
Yeah.
That's how it's done.
But he's done it. He knows, like, he's just one of those humans.
Yeah.
And he wants to learn sword. Like, he's only just started learning sword fishing, but he's big. I know he's talked to Mark a lot about it, and he's trying to hone. He's trying to suss it out.
Yeah. I love talking to him about fishing. He's another guest coming up for you listeners. And
Yes, I want to listen to that.
Yeah.
I want to get like. I've had a lot. Like I've met him through. I've done a couple of 5-day trips with him to the Kings, and
yeah.
we did that. The Salty Gentleman to the Ramfilly Banks with George
Oh, he was
Kiddo.
on the boat then.
Yeah.
Finn was.
Yeah, George and Finn were on that
Yeah.
boat. It was pretty special trip. But like, he's like, when I first met him, he was like, I think he had long hair and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He always used to brush his teeth heaps.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, ask him about it when you get on the podcast. Like George will know and stuff. Eh? You always see him at the front of the boat, brushing
Always
his teeth.
brushing his teeth.
Sorry, Finn.
Yeah, no, it's alright.
But he's always had heaps of respect for the brand, and he's always fucking said what up. But he loved that trip. I think he said to me, he's like, fuck, it makes a difference when you bring 7 anglers or 5 or 6 anglers, know how to tie their own knots, know their own lures and rigs, how much different the fishing is on a charter trip.
Yeah.
Because he was like, they didn't do it. They usually tie knots all day.
Yeah.
But like that trip, like all of us tie our own knots. We all, like
They're just there enjoying it. with
yeah,
you,
well,
so,
like they got to dodge treble hooks from stick baits and shit, which is a bit dangerous. But he said it's quite refreshing. I think he said it's quite an enjoyable trip, and he knows the lads. It's good banter and shit. But, they did a fucking awesome job on that trip.
Yeah. But yeah, he's a very deep thinker of fishing, And he's it's actually quite interesting because
not a big boat.
No,
just a very. I think it's Kingfisher, isn't it, or
I
something?
think so. Yeah. Was it? What would it be? 5 meters?
5.5. Very just.
Yeah.
Honed it in and.
Spotless.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's quite interesting.
That's what Rick Pollock teaches you.
Yeah. It's
Look
quite
at Mark
interesting.
Collins' boat.
Yeah, I know. We had a good chat. Who was it? Oh, it might have been Rhodesy. Asked about shout out to Rhodesy. It was awesome to meet him too. Actually, he was fishing with Scotty Malcolm.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm an extremist.
Yeah, so he's been a long time listener of the podcast.
Oh, rad.
And we were Instagram pen pals for the last probably 2 or 3 years. So
Because he travels overseas working.
Yeah,
and
he
stuff,
works in where's Superman from? somewhere in
Manhattan.
Nah. Roswell. Is it Roswell?
Oh, where they found the
Yeah, where they launch all the spaceships and
shit.
And he works with like carbon fiber. He used to work for Oracle, like
so
the sailing team and stuff, like building shit out of carbon fiber and that. And yeah, like meeting him, the same thing, that same kind of community, and then meeting him at Anglers Escape. So that was another good thing. But he was talking about, because we were talking to sort of Finn about working for Rick and what Rick had taught him. And then, like, it was quite interesting because there's, like, Finn's like, oh, man, I credit, like, 95% what I know about fishing from Rick. But there's, like, certain things that used to just piss him off, you know, because Rick was so particular.
Yeah.
And he was talking about different things about, you know, bloody how many tea bags you use making tea or whatever. And he goes, you could give them the best day ever. Your charter's like, everyone's got 30 kilo kingfish. And they're just like, you know, on the beers and just had the greatest day ever. And then Rick will pull you aside and be like, you use too many tea bags, you've been slipping, I want you to like up your game. And he's just like, and then Rhodesy goes, yeah, but what did he teach you? And then he was just like, well, and then he was like, well, I guess like details matter. And I was like, yeah, that's why you're a good fisherman, because you think about it when you're on your boat. You think about every little detail like all the time, and you're like, and then Rhodesy goes, oh, is your boat always clean? He goes, bro, spotless.
Yeah.
Bait doesn't even touch my boat. It's washed before it even hits it.
Yeah,
And
mine's the same.
Yeah.
But
he's
you got it's the same with your house. Like my wife is pretty, like, I think the only reason I probably ever left our house once is because she cleaned too much. But she keeps the house, she can't focus unless the house is looking good.
Oh, yeah.
And I've learned to respect her. We've been married sort of nearly 12 years, and it's the same with the office. She'll go and clean the office after having a sauna at 10:30 because she knows that she can't focus coming into work the next day.
Yeah.
And it's just that you get that mentality if you've been doing it long enough. I need everything in line to make it so I can just concentrate on what I want to do. And that'd be the same for fishing. Get it all lined up, your bait's rigged perfect, drags are tested, drift's perfect. Oh, now I've got to do the drift again.
Yeah.
I bet your Finn's doing that drift and making sure it's pinpoint accuracy.
Yeah.
I know Mark does.
Yeah.
Seen Mark catch Cherokee off a rock the size of that Yeti cooler.
Yeah.
You know, like, he's that, like, he's like, we'll only get it if we get on that exact spot, and he's real fucked off because the drift's going wrong and the wind swings him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we drop when we get right and catch his fucking Cherokee. But that makes a good fisherman.
Yep, it does. Yeah, and they're but very in tune with what like doing, eh? Like, that's the one thing I've.
And you do it with marlin fishing. I need to learn from you for marlin fishing is fucking just don't leave that bait and fish if you know there will be a fish there, and just mow that lawn. Like, I'm still fucking a culprit of just like disappearing a little bit left to a little bit right, you know, like, and I think I'll get there, but
I think it's like I talk about this like a bit with people. You kind of build your own memory bank, you know.
And confidence?
And confidence, because things trigger. Like, if you're paying attention to your surroundings, which you do, and like I do and like Mark does, like with the drift and that kind of thing, like I'm very in tune with what's going on around me. Like, I'm watching the current, I'm feeling it. My boat's so good for that because I get dictated to by the sea, so I can tell.
Just close to the water. Yeah. People can't see it, but soon he's like half a metre from the water when he's marlin fishing.
Yeah. So it's like you're very in tune with like your surroundings and what's going on and what the current's doing. You can feel when it starts to push. You can see.
Even you're adjusting speed and stuff like that. Yeah.
Like you can just sort of, like I'm paying attention to that all the time. Like it's not aimless driving. And fish are like, they're a fish. Like, they're there for a reason. And I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people think with marlin fishing is that it's random. It ain't random. Like,
they're there for a reason.
Yeah, you don't make a fish appear. Like, people,
and that's
we spoke
why
about this before.
10% of the fishermen still, 10% of the marlin fishermen still catch 90% of the fish. Every year. Because...
Go
Yeah,
bro.
Sorry, guys.
Toilet break. Alright, we're back from the toilet break. But with the like you kind of said with that marlin fishing, that what is it? 90% of the fish are caught by 10% of the fishermen. Yeah, like that. I think it's very true because there's only a certain. What I've kind of noticed with marlin fishing, and myself included in this, is there's a lot of factors that have to go in to be able to be consistent with the fishing. Is a lot of it is opportunity. Like you have to be able to go when it's on,
Yeah.
and when you get
when
the
we
windows.
came down here when that bite was good.
Yeah.
When we caught my first one.
Oh yeah, and then we went out the next day and bloody had 9 bites.
Yeah.
Like because the fish are there. Like
Yeah.
people talk about boats being magnets. Yes, like some boats may raise more fish, but they don't make fish appear out of nowhere.
Nah.
The fish has to be there, and you got to run it over to get it up into the
And
spread.
good numbers are usually congregated in small areas.
Yeah.
When the bait's right, or
Yeah.
the current's pushed in,
Yeah.
and the current's got a lot of fish in it.
Yeah. And then what I've noticed, because I've been able to be more flexible with my time, I've been able to fish when the fish have been there, so I've been more successful. It's not because, yes, I have definitely got better at it, and I've learnt and built up that memory bank of, things to look for and little triggers. I'm like, oh, yeah. Like, this year, a big one for me was smelt. So I smelt the fish my last 4 trips out. I could smell them before I hooked them.
So you smell bait being fed on, you could smell oil.
Yeah. It was like a hot... The first time I smelt it, I thought I'd blown a fuse or had an electrical fault in the boat. It smelt like something was burning. It was but kind of like a fishy smell at the same time. And the only way I could really describe it was sort of a mix between a cigarette and pilchards, like someone smoking and pillies. And then the second day I smelt it, I sort of smelled it, and then I remember thinking oh man, have I done a fuse or something? And then we just had a marlin all over the teaser and then ate the short corner and then fell off. And so I kind of forgot about the fuse, and then the smell was gone. So I was like, oh, okay, didn't think much of it. And then the next day I went out, a couple of days later, smelt the same smell again, and the same thing, had a marlin up on the teaser, then ate, fell off. And then we're like, oh, and then I was like, man, that was that smell I could smell the other day. And then, it happened a bit quicker, so I was sort of like, okay, is there something going on with the boat? So I was sort of checking the fuses and kind of looking, and I was like, well, the smell's not there anymore, and sort of turned a few things on and off just to see if would I have electrical surge or something?
It's like that humming sound. Do you get the humming sound in your cavity of your little console?
Nah.
On my old Surtees, at a certain angle, it'd sound like a helicopter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's so frustrating on boats when you have little sounds.
Little noises, yeah.
God, fuck, it can drive you up the wall.
Yeah.
Sorry, Karen.
No. And then there was a fishing boat, a trawler, outside us, a long line of boat or something. And then smelt the smell again, and then we got we just got a double, bang, bang, and we're like, oh shit, and then both of them fell off. And then I said to a mate I was fishing with, I was like, man, I could smell that smell again, because we've been talking about it from the morning.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, I smelled it too. And then we set the lures, turned around, ran back up, and I was like, there's that smell, that's the smell. And he goes, yeah, is that dude on the boat over there having a ciggy or something, and we're getting whiffs of it or whatever? And then bang, off the rigger.
Got a bite.
Yeah, got a bite. And then same thing with the triple. Next trip was the triple. Exact same thing. Could smell it again, and then bang, bang, bang. So it's obviously something that they're feeding on, and it's the oil, and it's...
because I've smelt skippies smell before, out on the western side of... we actually got them on the southern side of the Aldies.
Yeah.
We stayed at the Aldies one night. It was on my father-in-law's old launch. We're just towing lures with big 12-0.
Yeah.
Probably I was 29 or something. It's 15 years ago or something.
Yeah.
And woke up and you could see the oily slick on the surface. It was a crystal calm morning. You could see the oil slicking on the surface, and you could just smell the bloody kind of smell of skippies getting smashed. And then a marlin popped up on the long ringer, I think. On the shotgun. But didn't really eat properly. But I just remember the smell. It just felt like something had been killed or fed on or something.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I suppose back to sort of what we're talking about is that over time you build up different things and you understand why, so if I ever smell that smell again, I'm going to be oh, we're on. And if I don't get a bite, I'll be trying to stay in that
saying
spot.
You didn't have a year ago.
Yeah.
2 years
That's
ago.
how I just learnt that. And whether, I don't know, I wasn't paying attention, or that's the first time I've come into that scenario.
Yeah.
But it happened 3 trips in a row across a 10-day period. So Yeah.
It's the same back to that, like where you're talking about soft baiting, like if you haven't done a lot of it, and like what terrain to fish.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
same with stick baiting. Like I'm not a great stick baiter. I've had caught quite a few good fish over my time stick baiting, but I've definitely learned on how current pushes onto reefs and low lying foul and where kingies will like hold and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I've got probably like more confidence at it because in marlin fishing you're 100 meters deep and there's no structure. There is structure.
Yeah.
But sometimes fish are just check raglan, for example. It's just a patch of 5 miles of.
Yeah.
We don't really know it's there, but every
Yeah.
year there's fish there.
Yeah.
It's kind of, like whether it's just, but you think about it, like it comes out of 1,000 meters up to the 100 and then it plateaus for ages.
Yeah, so that's
the
a big
shelf,
edge. There's your edge of the reef.
Yeah, that's kind of your edge of your reef.
I talked to Jordan about that at Hokianga too, because if you look on the Hoki charts, there's like fingers that run in there, and when you get that current coming on the right way, like the bait stacks up along the edge of these finger guts that come up into like 100 meters of water, and they come out of, because you go from 100 meters of water to 200 meters in like a 2 mile stretch there, or a mile stretch, drops off pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But you can see like these fingers, like little like canyons that come up, and then you sort of run along
Depends
the
what
edge
ways
of them.
the current's pushing onto it,
like,
push on. We get it with the
bait's
155 like that behind the
yeah.
barrier. Fish behind the barrier a couple of times this year.
Yeah.
And like if you get to the 155 and you want to figure out the current, like you just do a loop of it and you'll find what way is the bait stacked, what side is bait stacked on.
Yeah.
And then you just start working. Like then you'll go out to 200 off the edge of it and see how far out it's stacked up on.
Yeah.
And then come back, so you'll figure out a grid.
Yeah.
We got one, or mate got one out there, and it's the same out even in the trench. Like if you go out to where the sword grounds are, that comes out of 1,000 up to like 400. You can find exactly where the, like the bait will be sitting at like 60 meters. It's still 450 deep.
Yeah.
But it's only on one side of the bank.
Yeah, yeah.
Where the current's hissing into it. And you just got to have confidence, and then you got to put time in there.
Yeah, yeah.
I think with me now, like with work being busy, and it's not sometimes it's an excuse, but you might only have one day. And then also you like want to hang out with your mates, so you might go, I just want a weekend away. So it's not really the fishing trips back to kind of like what Anglers Escape is.
Yeah.
It's just you're going to hang out with your buddies and have some time out.
Yeah, yeah.
I think with work getting busier, like I'll have my stages where it's good, but as I get older, I realise that you can't just go and catch marlin just like that. Like you got to put time in on, like you're saying, right days, where the fish are.
Yeah, it's that opportunity thing, right? Like you get a day here and there, it's hard.
It's
like
hard.
It's so hard. Like, and you see
It makes the majority of the fishermen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Let's go for a troll.
Yeah, and then and the other factor of that is when you got patchy, shitty weather, it's hard to know where the fish are because there's no intel.
Nah.
People haven't been going, so then you're like, oh, okay, like fuck, where do I go? But then when you do it more often, what I've noticed is the fish are in the same place each year.
Yeah.
They won't necessarily be there on the same day, but they'll be there at some point. Like for whatever reason, there's a reason they go there.
Yeah.
So like the amount of times,
Because the bait's been there every year.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I caught Jimmy's marlin right on top of the mark where we caught Woody's first marlin like 4 years ago.
Yeah, I think you caught some quite close to the marks that
Yeah.
we caught fish
Yeah,
on.
yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't be far, eh? What are you
Nah.
fishing? 5 mile area?
Not even that. Like this year I pulled... The triple was a little bit outside, like 1.5 miles outside of the top end of my run, but I was fishing like a 1.2 mile run and I caught 6 on it.
Far out,
Yeah. And
I think it
5
was the same with, like, I think Liam,
Yeah.
you would have
No.
met Liam at Anglers
Yeah.
Escape.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
He fished the trench a couple of times this year. He had awesome, I think he did 3 days for 3 fish. But they had great fishing down there that way, this year. And I think there were a lot of brownie and albatross boys and stuff for fishing.
Yeah.
But that's a long run, like if I think a few of the boys are doing overnighters and stuff like that. Like,
again, opportunity, like your overnighter falls on a Tuesday, Wednesday, like who can do that? Not many people.
Nah. And and like the thing is that...
And they know where they're putting the time in, they're working out
they're
where the
doing
fish
days,
are.
yeah.
They're catching them because they're good at their craft.
Yeah. One day I'll get more time off and be able to dedicate it to my I might be into surf casting too much, so I just want to go and catch a big snapper off the 90 mile.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like, I love all. Man, I did 90 mile with Willis this year, and it was such an awesome trip.
Yeah.
Living on the beach, like surf casting, it's like a real kind of back to basics. And you would have seen the new Daiwa video of Brownie documenting Rusty, and like it's just. That shit's so humbling and back to fucking grassroots fishing. Like, it just makes you want to go fishing.
Yeah.
And surf casting.
Mm. Well, I think I shared that on my story, and I was
so
like,
if this doesn't make you want to go surf casting,
we can't be friends.
Because we can't be friends.
Because it kind of lit something in me. And I think Brownie does a great job of that. Like, I'll give him credit when credit's due. Like, he can really pull the emotion like out of fishing, and he articulates it well, and his like ability to tell the story in what was that video, 2.5 minutes long. Yeah. And he painted both Rusty and Willis in a great light because of how I know them, like from what I've met of them. Like, he did it, you know.
Even
like
in that story, he like got that those two dudes are like best friends.
Yeah.
There's a
just
quote.
The
there's something in it. Even Penny picked up. I showed Penny at my wife, and she's met both with Willie and Rusty, and I think when they wake up in the morning, he talks to him. Hey, Willie, you know, like it's like he's talking to a 60. You know, like for me, it's just like fuck. These are two best mates that love fucking surf casting, and like they love marlin. Like, fuck, they've been to the Worlds before for marlin fishing.
Have they?
Yeah, they won the Nationals.
True.
Rangers won the Nationals before.
Man.
Fuck, dude, that like
that
like those dudes like he just loves surf
get
casting.
at it,
They'll like Willie's a fucking amazing fisherman, and like whether it's going to they spent a lot of time at Waiho back in the day. I think you would have met Gargs one of the first years.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Rusty went to the Worlds, but. Yeah, they do some cool missions, and they won Nationals one year and ended up going to the Worlds and fishing on 5 different boats, 3 different boats and shit like that. But I think over there he said like it's a lot of tipping, and they didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
So they couldn't tip shit, so they got bad boats.
Yeah.
But he said like amazing experience. But before they were married and had kids, they were going to Waiho fucking all the time.
Yeah.
Honing their skills.
It's crazy, like one side of the country to the other. Like.
But I think a lot of the Naki boys fish over there.
Yeah.
Depending on
I have heard that. Like, I think when we were down there...
A lot of dudes fish up for the Anger and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done well on the bluefin. They did the bluefin missions and stuff.
Yeah. One thing I have sort of noticed a lot with getting into fly fishing, and then it's the same with the surf casting too, I reckon, is those anglers that are good fly fishermen, fishermen that are good at fly fishing or are good at surf casting are good fishermen at anything, because I think it teaches you to read water well.
Yeah, hugely.
And so like I learned a lot from just trout fishing last year. I only got into fly fishing last year, and then with my marlin fishing this year and learning what I learned off like Chris Ash when I fished with him for a couple of days, about current and about water and about what he's looking for, and talking about the east coast and up north, and there's like 2 consistent currents that he's talking about, and how it kind of works and how the fish travel in it. And he's like, well, if you're hearing this on the radio and that on the radio, and he's like, listen to the depths. And then we're fishing and it's like, oh boom, and there's hooked up 180 off the back of the calves, next to it 190 off bloody in the back of Stevie's, the next person, we're on 210 Clayworks. And then it's like all these spots, and he goes, well, all those spots are miles apart from each other, but the one common thing they have is they're all in the same depth, and there's a current. Like, he goes, look, we're in like 150, and he goes, we'll go back to 200, and I guarantee you there'll be a current running down that line. Go there it is.
Yeah.
Could see it. Like,
big
see the current
line.
pumping.
Because you see Whangaroa and calves and stuff, like, I haven't seen current lines like that anywhere. Like, you get the old ones out west, good ones out west, actually. Yeah. But all the way up to the Fingers, all the way up to the Compass Roads, because we've fished up to the Compass Roads quite a bit, and the current lines that we've hooked the blue out of a couple of times.
Yeah.
Like we had one like
They just funnel right down the coast there, right?
yeah, it was a trip on it's me, George Burke, Nick Jones. Who else was on that trip? Oh, Luke Farmer and I. And it was a trip up. We were going to the Kings for a couple of days on the extreme boat. We towed it up.
Oh, yeah.
And rough day up. Like I think it was like 2.5 meters, 12, 15 knots, kind of, smallest boat. We went in a big launch. But we're going up the Compass Roads, just kind of cruising down the swells, back up, back down. I was like, Jonesy, check how calm it is over there. And it was just like this oil slick, calm patch in the middle of the swell. No swell on it.
Yeah.
The swell would hit it and just stop.
Yeah.
And then you get to the other side and the current was ripping the other way and it just went electric blue.
Yeah.
So it was like holding the swell back and it just went glass out. There was 15 knots of wind. It was messy. Got to the other side of it. Boom! Blue Marlin and like the Blue Marlin's jumping down the waves toward the boat and I'm like, holy fuck! It fell off, but I was just like, there's like 2 meters swells up there. There's this Blue Marlin jumping down. You're like down here and you're like, fuck, he's gonna jump on me.
Yeah.
But like just that current up there, like it's just nuts. But all the way down that coast, like especially cabs, you get big current lines, eh? And if you do cross over them, there's always fish or some sort of activity in them.
Yeah. Well, like I've learnt a lot from like filming my fishing with the loop mode with the GoPro too. So like if you watch like my videos and stuff on YouTube and that, like quite often, if you watch the videos, next time you watch them, watch the behaviour of the boat before the bite. Like, because I've always got the bite on the video, and just about every single time the boat will wobble or it'll do a big like arc and like on the autopilot. So it's clearly
getting pushed.
Those fish are coming out of edges of current. So it's always like be trawling along and you'll see the boat will like rock side to side. The camera will wobble. It'll go wobble, straighten up, bang, and the fish will appear. So, and it's like clockwork just about every time. But it's not like I drive around waiting for that to happen.
Not looking for it.
Nah, I'm looking at the different current lines and things like that and the way current's moving. But so many times, and I kind of learnt that just from watching. I was just like watching, I was like, oh, and then I'd watch and I'd try and zoom the video and, to see when it's going to bite. And I was like, oh, it bites just after that wobble. And then it's like, you do enough, do a few videos and then you're like, fuck, just about every time it wobbles. So then I go and look at all the bites, like got them all on file and then go through them all and it's like, oh yeah, wobble, oh yeah, wobble, oh yeah, oh look at that, the boat does a big push and like turns back, oh yeah, bang, fish is there, and it's just like, so this obviously, and you're saying the same thing there, full glass off, changing current, changing colour, boof, you like get right to the edge of it and you get a Blue Marlin bite. Like, Yeah. And so I've had a couple of bites where I've found good current lines out of, like, another one was out of Whangaroa. It was like before we lost that fish as well. I was with Simo, that fish with me. And we were trying to catch the first marlin critically. We didn't have dredges or anything. We just had 4 lures out. Yeah. And again, it was like I was asleep on a chili bin having a kit. And like Simo's like wakes me up and like, Aaron, look at this. Like it's like green over there and it's like electric blue and there's these big swirling like lines, they're like slicks. Yeah. Boom BTK gets smashed. But I think like that's that whole thing, like you're saying, like your skills now and confidence, and I've listened to this, I've listened to your podcast with Bonds quite a bit. Just that confidence thing. And I think when you're like busy in life and if you lose it, and you can't go to where you want to go, and you're trying to push something uphill in an area that, like you're not going to be disappointed, but, like, you just got to put yourself in that right position in the right place. But sometimes it's hard. Yeah. You don't want to jeopardize your business just to catch them up. No. Or jeopardize, like... Or your marriage.
Or your marriage. And, like, I've got a fucking good life with JAF. It's just that I've made it, it's got a bit bigger than being able to just fucking bail for 3 days when the weather's good. I just don't have that luxury.
No, but I hope you get it big enough that you'll be able to. That's kind of the better way.
Yeah. I just regardless, I love it. I love fishing. Yeah. Like, I'd be just pumped as, like, I think Willie said it in his surf casting, like, catching a big snapper off the rocks is just as buzzy as catching, surf casting is just as good as catching a marlin. Yeah. Well, catching a big kingy topwater fishing is just as, like, so there's heaps of, it just depends what floats your boat. Yeah. And I like all styles of fishing. So, it's just more.
Oh, we wouldn't have talked about that big kingfish. Because that was after.
Yeah, it's on the new boat. Yeah.
Oh, well, we might as well dive into that while we're talking.
What do you want to know?
Oh, just like, tell us what happened.
Fuck.
Well, first of all, how big was it? Like, what?
It measured.
It went off the Moocher mat, which is
Won the top measure for the Moocher mat. So I got the big OTL lure, which is pretty sick off Mike.
So what does that go to? 140.
Yeah, so it weighed a measure, we reckon 145 centimetres estimated. So I was with Mark Collins, one of my best fishing buddies that we've talked about a bit. But me and him had good luck over the years.
Yeah.
So we're down.
I don't know if it's lucky when it's you and Mark together. You know what I mean? Like, it's two pretty good bloody anglers and fishermen.
But we've had some good fishing trips together. But yeah, so I think it was like before Christmas actually, like last year. So I just got the boat. Well, I don't think if it was even sign written. Yeah, just got it.
Yeah.
And we were down Town Point off Tauranga, fishing a reef, and we went down there to go snapper fishing. We heard the snapper fishing was pretty good, so we're like, oh yeah, let's go and try to get some of these good snaps. Caught no snapper. Didn't even catch one legal one.
True.
Nah, me and Mark suck at snapper fishing sometimes.
Yeah.
But anyway, we ended up fishing this reef, and I bought a jigging setup and a topwater setup. He didn't even bring one.
Yeah.
And then just started casting stick baits, and we raised a few rats.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll drop a jig, and he caught like a 10 kilo.
Yeah.
And then we raised a couple of 12 kilos on top water, and then we just rotated. Yeah. And we just had an amazing session. We ended up getting fish to like 20 kilos.
Yeah.
And we were like, fuck, okay, one more cast. And I casted a big stick bait, so it was like a Ryan 220. It's like, it's quite a decent, it's got a big profile. And yeah, it just fucking must have landed on a big pack of fish. And shallow reef's like 20 odd metres. Rose one big boil, and Mark's like, fuck, that's big. Because he's seen a lot of big kingies, and it's like, and a fucking bigger one just fucking knocked it out of the way over the top of it and fucking engulfed the stick bait. Yeah. And he's like, fuck, we're on now. Yeah. And he's pretty quick on the reel. And I was on my light set, so I was only on my 5500 Saltiga. Yeah. Which I think now is like a 10k.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or the 8k. And my light rod, and we're.
So what was that, like 50 pound?
Yeah. So P5. Yeah, like real bendy kind of fucking carpenter rod. Like heats it. Like good fun to fight with, but fuck this thing. Yeah, and just fucking we chased it around and put some heat on it, and we got it up, and then it fucking. I thought a shark had come because it charged the boat.
Oh yeah.
And then, but it wasn't. It just fucking charged the boat. Yeah. Because I'm so used to shark bronzies these days.
Yeah.
It's quite and then Mark saw it, and he was like, oh, fuck, dude, that thing's over 40 kilos. And I was like, oh, fuck. Then he fucking brought it on board, and I was wearing my fucking trusty crewmans. The treble hook went through my crewman shorts, caught the inside of my leg, pulled my whole body on top of this 40 kilo kingy flapping around on the bottom of the boat, and the other treble went through my hand.
Oh!
So I'm stuck on this 40 kilo kingy, like laying on it while Mark's trying to and he fucking pulled the hook out. I had barbless hooks. And he cut my shorts out. Yeah, and then we kind of came to terms of what kind of happened, but it was sick. Yeah, so released it, and then I ended up getting a good friend of mine, Lauren Marriott, to kind of illustrate it.
And she drew that, right?
So she's the artist that did the original Sampa logo graphic. Yeah. She's done heaps of work. She did the Angler's Escape, all the artwork for the Angler's Escape this year, and did all the art on the chili bin that got auctioned off. So worked with a couple of artists that I've worked with for the last sort of 10 years. She's married to a good friend of ours, Dan Farrell, that they've moved down to Gizzy now. But she did a lifestyle pencil drawing of it. Yeah. So I released it.
That's sick. That turned up when I was up at...
So, and I've got the stick bait next to it with the crewman shorts still stuck to the treble hook. But yeah, it was pretty fucking... Yeah. Yeah.
It's a once in a lifetime fish.
Yeah, Hey, get a 40 kilo on top water. Yeah. Yeah. And now, my hometown, Tauranga.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like you're at
not like Ramfields
King Bank or
just at a local reef.
Yeah.
But it just shows they are there.
Yeah.
And just keep be prepared, keep casting and But that's the thing, you go through stage, a lot of people dream of fish like that, you just kind of got lucky, and it's kind of like when you look through your life, if you get to fish a lot, you're not always going to catch amazing fish all the time, like especially if you do a long variety of fish.
Yeah.
But catching a 5 kilo snapper off 90 Mile Beach or like surf casting, that gave me just as much of a buzz because one, I grew up surf casting, but I just, like you're just putting yourself in a different scenario.
Yeah.
Or like up the harbour, Rangapura in a metre of water.
Yeah.
Like.
Unbelievable.
It's just, fly fish. I haven't done fly fishing, and I really want to because our mates Jeremy and
Yeah.
Matt are real into it.
Yeah.
And I can
You'll
definitely.
love it.
Oh, I bet you would.
Yeah, you would.
Because it'd be either sight casting or hunting. And,
the visual aspect of it, reading the water. Just like I've heard you talk about surf casting before and the different currents and where you cast for a trevally and like those sorts of things. Like
surf casting, like if you're good at it, like these top anglers, like they know how to read the water. Like so when you see a big shore break, the one that's dumping real hard and it's like real in the middle of the surf.
Yeah.
The reason that's doing it is there's a bank right there and it's coming straight out of deep water.
Yeah.
Because that's that dump. All the power is real powerful. So if it's like white watering through, it's quite shallow and it's just going, So if you go like, like especially on West Coast, you go,
yeah.
That's the best. That's what you want to get over.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, the fish will sit just behind that dump.
Yeah.
And that's where all the tuatūas are sitting. So they're getting smashed and getting pushed into a channel.
Yeah.
So the fish are sitting right behind that. So if you see the top dudes at 90, they'll be wading up to their chest and they only just want to get over that.
Yeah.
And that's where the fish sit. Yeah. But see, I never used to think like that.
Yeah.
But then everyone's like, oh, it's deep there.
Yeah.
Just behind that waves, it's super deep. Because all the power's there. Yeah. Makes
sense, eh?
Yeah. But it's like, like same like your ideas with fishing, like for marlin, like you get those ideas, you know. You can apply all those theories, or like calm water, or like current pushing onto reefs and.
Well, I noticed that like quite a bit out of Raglan. Like I just watched the water, and there's upwellings and there's things there. Like the chart might read flat, but it's not flat. Like there's obviously certain little spots where there's something because you'll see it. Like you'll clearly see a lift or a rise, and then like you see the odd one that it's just sort of ran like it might be one, but I'll just sort of if I see it, then I'll just stay and I'll watch. And I'll trawl back and forward, and I'll just watch it. And if it's consistent, then I'm like, sweet, I'm staying here. Yeah. And then you run it over. Generally, there'll be bait on it. You're like, okay, sweet, there's bait sitting on that.
You're not rushing, eh?
No.
And I think that's like a key with a lot of fishing as well is just not rushing.
Yeah.
And I think like enjoying your day.
Yeah.
Like I remember spending time with you and you're that last trip, and I think Mark said the same. It's like. You could have done an 8-hour podcast. Like you're still honing in on what you want to achieve, but you're still just enjoying the day. Probably not drinking too much. Like like you're really because you love it.
Yeah.
You've been waiting all week to do this.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, it's just like There's so much to because you can always get caught up with like an outcome. I reckon, and I think rugby taught me that because. Every week you're trying to achieve something, like you're trying to win, right? Yeah. And then you're trying to master a skill or whatever it is. But the actual true enjoyment and beauty is the process of it all. And if you're actually able to disconnect yourself, like in the moment, you can actually enjoy the moment. Where if you're like fully just focusing on the outcome and getting it right and like doing this and that or whatever, then you're like... You're not taking in what's actually happening around you. So you're not enjoying the fact that you're playing in front of 60,000 people and you're like, holy shit.
Pinch yourself and like live in the moment.
Yeah, you're like kind of there and you like look around. I remember certain times, like I remember the Super Rugby final when we lost to the Bulls in Pretoria and it's 65,000 people. And I remember standing there at one stage of the game and just looking around and going, how the hell did a chubby kid from Morrinsville end up here? So cool. Like just standing there looking. And I remember like actually vividly saying that to myself, like, how the fuck did I end up here? Like, how cool is this? And we're getting our ass kicked, but I was just like, how did I get here? And to actually take that moment in. And like, yes, we were losing, but I was so appreciative of the situation and the fact that I was lucky enough to be the one standing there.
Well,
like,
you were
in
part
that
of
moment.
you were part of the moment.
Yeah.
I think like, I think this is talking. Well, we were talking kind of earlier. Kind of relates to this, but like, because these days with social media and everything like that, I think we talked about like social media quite a lot in the last podcast. But like appreciating the chapter you are at your life, like I wasn't fucking good at school or anything. I wasn't handed anything. Like self-made business owner with my wife. Like fuck, she's amazing. She works fucking harder than I do any other week. But like we always say when we sit down, I think your wife asked me, she's like, "Oh, do you guys talk about work at home?" And I'm like, "We do, but mainly it's like, look how far we've come."
Yeah.
You know, like
That
you started
reflection
Aaron, I'm proud of you. You started around about your hobby, and you get to go on fishing trips for a job.
Yeah.
Like, look how different our fifth office is. Like, start appreciating the stuff you've achieved and pat yourself on the back. Because everyone's too worried about what someone else is doing.
Yeah. Or what you're going to do next.
What you're going to do next, or what I've got to do next. Like, if you achieve something good, like, you deserve to feel good because you've worked hard. And I think it's fucking important. Because if you go through your whole life, you'll get to 60 and go, yeah, I've got money in the bank, but fuck. Did I stop to appreciate what I actually did? No. Oh, fuck. Maybe I need to take a moment occasionally.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
enjoy where you are marlin fishing. Enjoy where you are at Anglers Escape. Enjoy the time with, you know, what you've achieved with your kids and your wife and your family. I think it's fucking important. And I think once you start doing that, good shit will happen around.
Yeah. It was that juju thing. We
Yeah.
spoke about at the start,
Yeah.
you know?
And I think that's that whole thing like we were talking about before earlier is like, and also judging, you know, when you have staff and stuff at different levels of their life, like someone might get a boat real early because they're fortunate. But then you meet a person that's had multiple boats, but they're never that flash, but their achievements are way out past the other person because the dedication and the effort and the time and all that's put in. I think I have a massive belief that just, and as I get older, that, you know, like owning a business and owning a brand or being a career sportsman is all about chapters. And appreciate them, learn from them, pat yourself on the back and keep going. Because, you know, like you deserve a break, but then you also need a push to keep going. Yeah, and I think it's fucking like, if you can kind of take a little bit from there, I think that a lot of people will start to think, oh yeah, I've got a lot to live for. You know? Got a lot of good shit around me, little peers and...
Yeah. Well, I think too, like, to that social media aspect of it too, like a lot of people look at that and, like we spoke about at the start, we see, in terms of the guys being genuine at Anglers Escape and seeing their social media profiles and then actually meeting the person and being like, oh, it's cool, they're actually legit, they're genuinely like they perceive to be, but not everyone is that way. And then a lot of people will look and they go, oh man, this person's doing that, this person's doing that. I even get like a lot of people, like just my mates and teammates I play rugby with, like, fuck bro, you crush it, like go out there fishing, living the dream. And I was like, yeah, but you only see the days I catch, like, you know what I mean? Like there's plenty of days where there's like nothing, but I was like, what am I going to put a photo up of? Like nothing? Like, you know? Like I was like, you only seen what I'm like, I'm excited about those moments, so I'm sharing them. And if there was and that's what excites me at the moment, so like at that point in time, so that's why I want to share. Yeah, and then rugby season comes around and there's certain moments and things that happen. Like I took a photo last year with my dad on the 100 years of Thames Valley Rugby celebration because my dad played. So we took a photo on the field together after, and that goes on there because I'm proud of that moment and it's cool for me to share that with Dad. So and that's who I am, and that's why I share that post.
What inspires you more though, like that post, or if you could actually tell people the journey that it was to
to tell the journey, because
and that's the thing that you can't portray on Instagram or social. You have to know the people, or you have to meet podcasts, or you have to meet, like, how did Mark get to his place, how did Willis get to it, how did I or Brownie or guys from like Mike and Rita from OTL, or like people that left
Matt Watson.
Matt Watson,
Rick
like
Pollock,
a lot of fucking hustle, man.
Yeah.
A lot of their chapter is unwritten because only they went through it.
Yeah.
Or their peers went through it with them. And I think if you have a personality that you can go look at and go, that's why they are who they are, because you respect all that other shit that you don't see in the background. I think, that's the shit that gets me up in the morning. That's the part that I want to like build the brand to be about, is all the shit that I did in the middle.
Yeah.
Not the shit that's on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's all the hustle in the middle. The community, the friends, the family. That's the shit that drives me. So like, as long as I have good people like yourself, my wife and family and good friends around me, that's going to keep me going to keep it doing. I don't care if I post another picture on Instagram as long as I got my buddies and shit, It's and I think that will change. Like Instagram will probably be fucking gone in 5 years.
Yeah. Well, look, Bebo's gone, and that was
what's that?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
So Bebo was like around when Facebook started, and then it was I think Bebo.
Remember MySpace?
Yeah, I think Bebo was a similar time.
Yeah.
Like MySpace, Bebo, Facebook, all kind of starting out, and look, like they're gone.
Yeah, and I think
well,
TikTok
Bebo's
will.
gone.
I didn't really jump. Like JAF's never been in TikTok, or I've never.
Nah.
But I know it's a youth thing, and I
Yeah.
know a few of the brands are doing it. And it's massive, but like, I think that personal connection of like you said is like you buy JAF because you know me originally.
Yeah.
Like that means a lot to me and how communities should work, because that's
Yeah.
how it used to work in the day before
Yeah.
Instagram.
Well, that to me is like if you can, as a brand or a business or anything, if you can create that connection, then you have a loyal customer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I've spoken about it like just about every podcast. Like I grew up that way.
Yeah.
You know, in a small town, we looked after each other and
you support
from
it.
town.
Yeah.
Like because you get
It's
your
how towns
mushroom.
work.
Yeah, you get the mushrooms from the local mushroom farm. Like you get your veggies from the local veggie grower. Like that's what you did, because that was how we all looked after.
And that's how your
one
community
another.
worked and rotated.
Yeah. If you can create that connection, which you have done, if you look at everybody at Anglers Escape, I bet you ask them all the same question. Like, they wear JAF because it's cool gears, but they buy from JAF because it's you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because they're connected. And in not even the fact, they might not even know you, but they feel connected to the brand because
Whether
the
it's
brand
through
tells
you
a
or-
good story as well, you know? So what they see...
And they
like
see
that-
the effort going in.
Yeah. And what also they would see is like, even if you look at it from, I don't know, I guess that kind of like, I don't like using this word, but the influencer side of it, there's people that will buy from the brand because like Ben Brown wears the brand. You know what I mean? Because they look up to him because he's got a very good
profile and persona and
yeah, and then he's like well respected in the industry, so they're like, oh, if it's good for Brownie, then I'll wear it, like, so it's that.
Well, that's why like part of the relationship with Brownie is that we have that, because it's like, and I think with all his relationships, he's built a like brand around himself, and what he does is that's sellable. And he's been doing it his whole life. Like he talked about in his podcast with you, when he like used to take people kayaking and make movies for them and sell them to them.
Yeah.
Like he's just been in big ups to him, because like his life's pretty sick.
Yeah. No, I
like
guess
the things that dude has seen and filmed and done is like incredible. It's just different to my life. Like I'm just as happy going making a new flannel shirt or meeting my Chinese supplier, or because like I get a lot of value out of it. It's part of our business, and you need everyone. But I think that's the best part. Like regardless of any industry, whether it's rugby, like take rugby for example, you needed so many components to make you successful.
Yeah.
Like you still need to play and train.
Yeah. But there's
your
so
support
many.
network behind you.
It's huge. Huge.
Yeah.
I actually spoke at like a men's mental health evening a couple of weeks ago Oh, it was just before Angler's Escape.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
the
we were
week
chatting. I was
before.
going to come down, eh?
Yeah, and like that, like talking there, and they were obviously talking a lot about pressure and dealing with pressure and different things and judgment and the rest of it, and all the guys are just like, oh man, I don't know how you did it, like couldn't do that, and I was like, yeah, it's hard, like, but you learn and you have skills that you learn to adapt with it. I said it's extremely hard to start with, but that's where the support aspect comes in. So I was very fortunate because I had a really good support network, and it was probably something I wasn't aware of until I got further down the track.
Yeah.
And then I was actually like, how did I deal with all that shit? And I was like, well, I could vent to my best mate. I could vent to my brother.
Yeah.
I could talk to mum and dad about it. They could reassure me that, no, like, you're doing this. I could talk to my teammates. How good's
reassurance?
Yeah, reassurance.
Well, like, you
awesome.
heard me how many times go, fuck, I hate talking. I
Yes.
talk at Angler's Escape. But I just think, I'm probably telling you because I need reassurance. That like, because I know I stutter or put my fucking hand on my face. Which, like, I know I do.
Yeah.
But, like, you slowly learn that it's just like, oh, it's going to be okay. You got the reassurance of your buddy. Your buddies are still going to like you if you fuck up or not.
Yeah.
You're not even going to fuck up. You are who you are.
Yeah. Yeah, I talk about that a lot, like, because people say, you know, you hear it all the time, like, people, oh, bro, he's weird, or, like, he's an idiot, and I was like, yeah, but what the fuck is normal, bro?
Yeah,
like, actually,
yeah.
I talk
Fuck,
about
you
that
could pick a hole
lot.
in every single human,
Oh,
and I'm one of them.
Yeah, same, like, fucking multiple holes. Yeah, but I just, like, I always, I think because I lived in a life where I was so heavily judged because of something that I did, and all of a sudden, you know, like you talk about your fishing being related to the brand because it's a brand about fishing. The person, Dwayne, was related to the player, Dwayne, and it's two completely different people.
All the aspects that comes with Dwayne, like you've got sportsman Dwayne that plays on the field, but then there's all this other stuff that comes with it.
Yeah. And then as you go through time, you become a father, and then, you know, like a husband, a father, whatever it may be, a mentor for XYZ, but people don't see any of that. All they see is the performance side, and they go, oh, fuck, he's shit, why are they still playing him? He's old or whatever, but they don't actually realise, like in New Zealand, everyone's very highly opinionated of rugby players. Like, we just are, because it's our national game, we love it, like, you know, and everyone's engaged and into it. And
what is the be-all, end-all of New Zealand sport?
It
correct?
is, yeah, it is.
What's that saying just to say, like, I sponsor quite a few anglers. You know, like, I have certain days where I'm real happy and chirpy and I want them to come into the office. Other days I'm so fucking flooded that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not actually here. Like, because I'm so deep.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that, like, from the outside, again, this is social media. From the outside, do campaigns, all good. But to build a brand, build a website, do retail stores, design 170 styles a year, there's a lot of shit in the background that you've still got to micromanage, but you can't just go out and go fishing all the time.
Nah.
And you have to make that selective choice. And that's you know, like the same thing. Like, you've got a job to do, but then there's also the other side. Like, I've got to be the happy social dude that runs the business, but I've also got to go into the depths of the business and fucking make sure it's still going.
Yeah.
And I think that's a balance that I'm learning, and a balance that, like, probably you did, like, from sports field to personality, but you were getting judged opposite. You only get judged for being on the sports field.
Yeah, you get judged for that little 80 minutes a week.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, yeah.
See, like, I want to be
that.
judged on how good I do it, like, making sure my range delivers on time.
Yeah.
But my mate that, like, wants a t-shirt doesn't probably care too much, you know, like, it's not as important to him.
No.
But I know that's what makes my business cycle.
Yeah.
Because of it, so it's kind of, but I love, like, it's just a balance of running a business, I guess. It's just making sure. But, like, we're proud of, like, always trying to deliver on time, having good retail experiences. Yeah. It just takes a lot of, you can't just go fishing all the time. Yeah. And I'm selective, like, what I want to do. Like, do 90 mile. Because I want to go and spend time with a good mate that keeps me, like, nice and grounded and makes me feel good. Or come and catch up with you at Angler's Escape, or come and do this. Like, you can't do everything.
Nah.
The bigger you get, the more fucking people want to do shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's kind of, you know,
Yeah, like how hard have we been trying to replicate our trip out here?
No.
Out of Raglan, eh? Like, so hard.
I don't think we could ever could, but
nah,
that's good.
But, like, just to go
That's good
again.
juju.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good people coming together and doing good shit for a good purpose, and good shit happens.
Yeah.
Like, you could never fucking write a script. I've done a couple of trips like that, and I have no idea how it works.
Yeah.
Like, I paid Matt Query to go to the back of the barrier and go sword fishing. We shot the sword plotter.
Yeah.
We caught a sword.
Yeah.
He spewed all night, but it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But we got a sword.
Yeah.
Like, how often would you pay a photographer to
Yeah.
go and do a campaign? You actually get your, like,
Yeah.
it just doesn't.
And the
really...
campaign's called Sword Plotter. And
Yeah,
you
yeah.
catch a sword.
We're
like,
going to catch a sword.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was the last bait of the last drift from night fishing. Like,
Yeah.
it just doesn't, and then I come down here and do a campaign and finally meet you. But I
Yeah.
think it's all that good shit coming together.
Yeah, yeah.
Bring good people together, hang out with good people, good shit happens.
Yeah, it's like the DG talked about it.
Who's
Dave
that?
Galbraith on my podcast. The one on Mindset. Did you listen to that with the sports psychologist?
Oh, man.
Yeah, he talks about the universe as currency. Like, you put in, it gets back.
Yes,
But
yeah.
there's always a price. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. That's that same thing.
Whether
as
it's like
juju.
an axle breaking on your trailer,
Yeah.
like you take Mark and Bergie, they
Yeah.
could have easily just fucking shut off that trip.
And then they won the top. They were top boat.
Yeah.
And they almost were like stuck on the Auckland Highway.
Yeah, Penrose. So we was trying to find a place to put his boat and shit and find him another boat to fish in.
Yeah.
But that good attitude mindset to say, no, we're away on a trip. We're going to enjoy it. They spent 18 hours together in a car.
Yeah.
They made it work. They had a fucking great trip.
Yeah.
But attitude, man. Like, it's... And, attitude and just that.
Well, we even talked about that when we broke the spring. It was like there, and it was like, okay, we could lose the plot here and be like, this is shit. We're all, but there was like, even afterwards when we got sorted and wicked that we had the guy from Jackson Brown like help us.
That's phenomenal, dude. Like, a fucking big
Awesome.
shout out to that dude.
Yeah. I'm just trying to remember his bloody name, but I can't.
You got his business right.
Yeah, got his business right. So, yeah, if you're in Mangawhai, you need some service.
You go and see Lundy, too.
Yeah. And then we were talking about it in the car, and it's like, well, there's always a way, like, there's problems and things that happen, but there's always a way to fix it.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, what's our process? Like, we were sort of going through it. Brownie was on the phone, had this, that, and the other. Like, bloody, he had 2 mates in Auckland on standby to be able to go get parts from somewhere in Auckland where this trailer was built.
I think we rang Jordan, eh?
Yeah, rang Jordan.
Because Jordan hooked our mate up the weekend. Because Jordan, if you ever need parts, ring Jordan.
Yeah.
He hooked our mate Tiggy up there as Angus Escape.
Yeah.
He was in Taupo, and he's got an 8-metre ray glass, and he
Yeah.
broke the spring on a ray glass.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He looked up in the parts and found a random as like corner store fucking parts place that had the same springs, and he rang those.
Taupo?
Yeah, in Taupo, like over that long weekend. I think
Yeah.
it was Anzac weekend or something. And fucking Jordan figured it out, and that was off our group chat. Hauraki Hoodlums. But that's what I mean. Like, it's good cunts helping good cunts.
Yeah. So
Like,
good.
Fuck, it's so like, and you will like. Well, Tiggy says like, fuck, I owe that guy a box of beers.
Yeah.
But. Like, if you put yourself out there, you'll get it
Yeah.
back, and you'll be able to give it back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But a lot of
Yeah.
people are too scared to ask,
Yeah.
or they're too scared to, say I did this amazing thing, or I did this. So they're never going to get reward, and then they're also never going to be able to give it back because no one reaches out. But if you connect all the dots, like, I'm working out. I've got a collab coming out with Built to Fish this. Oh, 2 collabs at the boat show.
Yeah.
And I'm just working on one with Mark Collins. Like, we're doing a
cool.
funny as I really want to do just a t-shirt graphic about a boat building business.
Oh, yeah.
Just because it's rad, because I like boats and shit.
Yeah.
So it's like, better way to do it is like do one based on his business, but it's not actually for his business.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is his business.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fucking pretty sick.
Cool.
But nah, fuck, we're very lucky to have some. I don't know, like, I think it's been 4 or 5 years that me and you have met. We've had some there's some good fucking people around in this fishing industry. And it's quite new for you, like, you've been, 4 years, eh?
Yeah, well, I guess like I've always like been into fishing, but I've only really spent like more and more time like.
Sorry, I'm getting a rumbo.
No, go for it. Yeah, sort of doing it since my professional career ended, you know, because I've had more time to be able to, you know, I guess like put into it and stuff. Yeah.
Oh no, it's cool, and I know you didn't have the greatest experience of the last job, but it's like, I think me and you have talked about mental health quite a bit. Like it's really nice to see or chat to someone that understands and appreciates like how important it is to a male, and also how important it is to a family.
Yeah.
Like your wife must, you know, you would have travelled a lot.
Yeah.
So you have a relationship that where, you know, like you have a lot of understanding probably.
Yeah.
But if you don't communicate, you don't get fuck all.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's been... Yeah, I take my hat off to her. Like what
I take my hat off to my wife.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
fuck.
Just like what... And it's a good lifestyle, like playing rugby, but it's also a hard lifestyle too. Especially as you become more experienced, because you become the guy, and you became the captain, and your time is just like...
Well, you become a role model.
Everyone wants it, you know, and you're spending time, like more and more time, I guess, like helping the team, and you want what's best for the team. Just like when with the business, it's you.
Yeah,
like
more staff, more time taken out. There's more problems, like computers break down, or there's more bills to pay, or it just becomes more.
Yeah, exactly. So like, the further we got down my career path, and then like having the boys and stuff, when she needed more time, I had less time, because obviously the career was starting to take more of my time. So yeah, no, pretty extremely grateful actually.
Yeah, and I think having that respect for your partner or your peers or anything is that, I think it just creates a better platform for having a more stable and happy environment, regardless of whether it's at work, you know, like work, family, the way that your kids are, you know, like if it's a stressed out environment, your kids become stressful.
Yeah.
They can feel everything, bro.
Yeah, they can.
You probably know that. Like, you know, like if you're in a bad mood, they get pretty in a bad mood pretty quick.
Yeah, or they just push the buttons, they get you like going. But it's like, that's the juju thing too though, because I think about how we used to be for my mum, like us four boys, fuck, we used to push her buttons and wind her up, like no tomorrow, and we used to think it was funny as, but then now all of our kids do the same thing to us, like they all wind us up and push the buttons, and then mum just sits there and laughs, and she's like, oh, that looks familiar.
Yeah, it's yeah, but that's that balance that we're constantly like just trying to figure out, eh? We're owning businesses or working in businesses, family, and having a passion for fishing. Like, fuck, it takes up a lot of time.
Yeah, it does. And it, like, I think that's the like bit that Marie gets her is like, it'd be all good if you just went fishing, and then that was the time, and then you just turned off. But you come home and then you're talk about
I'm ringing you straight away.
Like, bro, like,
you got like seven mates ringing, Jordan's ringing,
everyone's ringing, you know. And you're like talking about it, and you're like buzzed off it, and she's like, oh my god, like, and she's hearing the same conversation probably 20 times throughout the week, because I'm talk to like 20 different people about what's
Marie makes it to my 40th, there'll be like fucking, I reckon there's going to be 25 wives with the same conversation.
Yeah. Does your husband just talk about fishing?
We could have the non-fishing table and it'll be like, hold on ladies.
Oh yeah, so funny.
Oh, Ben's like, you come home and just ring people and talk about it. And I'm like, yeah, I've got a debrief.
Yeah.
And then she's like, you're planning the next trip. And I'm like, yeah, I've got to get excited.
Yeah. Oh, it's so true though, eh? But life is, you have to have passion in life, like, and if you don't have it, like, there's, like, I look at all of the, I guess the player, I'll talk about from like a rugby point of view, but all the players that I've seen really struggle, like with mental health and just pressure and dealing with things. They don't have anything outside of rugby.
Yeah.
Like that was their whole being and their whole identity, and there was their, that passion. But that was it. That was all they had. And then when that was taken away, or that was,
they got injured or something.
got injured, or their form dropped, and pressure comes on. There's no escape to get out of that. Like where, I'd go and play golf with the boys, or go for a fish.
Or catch up with dad.
Old man. And that kind of stuff. Like go hang out with my brothers. They're quick as to fucking humble me, like...
When you turn up and they don't give a shit.
Nah, even if I played awesome, they'll find the one thing that I didn't do good and they'll give me shit about that anyway. Yeah. So, like that, having that sort of disconnection and a really strong passion somewhere else to take your mind away from sort of what you're doing, you think a lot clearer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think with the, say if you're going to take that for my business, say my day-to-day business, the fishing component of JAF is kind of the advertising and the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like running a clothing business, which is another 75%, has got nothing to do with fucking fishing.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
So your fishing's the escape.
Yeah, so the escape from business, or the marketing side of it, or the lifestyle side of it. And this, I learned heaps of this from skateboarding. It's there's a lot of successful skateboard brands, or say Nike is a sportswear brand. Yeah. The manufacturing of the shoes has got nothing to do with sports.
Nah.
The selling's kind of got a little bit to do with sports, but you're just going into a sports store.
Yeah.
The marketing's got to do with sports.
Mm.
So marketing's the part that makes it about fishing and the lifestyle and stuff like that, and the community and having events and doing all that stuff. But running a business about apparel or doing apparel, got nothing to do with fishing.
No.
Fucking nothing.
No.
So I do actually have but if I was a fishing, say Brownie, his job's fishing.
Yeah, yeah.
So here's no venting side. We might go. He goes hunting every year and goes and watches rugby, and he's got hobbies. He's a pretty active dude, and he's into tech and stuff like that. But it's a balance between it. And the same with Mark, boat builder, but loves fishing.
Yeah.
So they all interrelate, but he's not actually fishing for a job. He has fished for a job.
Yeah.
So I kind of get to I'm not fishing all the time. So I still got heaps of passion for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Just the bigger the business gets, the less time you have to dedicate it.
Yeah. Yeah, that but it's that passion side of it, is what. Well, that's why the brand is what it is, right? Because you're so passionate about it. Plus, you've got that. Well, you're also passionate about apparel.
I love designing clothes. Yeah,
yeah. So
I like clothes.
You've got that passion, and then you've been able to merge it with you've almost got the perfect marriage of passions, into the fishing side, because you can use your hobby to market.
Yeah. I can go for a fishing trip on the weekend with my mates and document
and it's marketing.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And then I can go, okay, say I want to shoot winter, I go, where do I want to go? I'm going to go to Taranaki and hang out with Willis for 5 days.
Yeah. That'd be mean.
Yeah, that'd be mean.
Yeah.
And Matt comes on the whole trip.
Yeah.
And all we have to think about is activities.
Yeah.
What
should we do today?
Quad bike, surf casting, go and pull cray pots. I think, it is. But there's still a lot of admin. You got to set up everyone's outfits, and it's not all beer shit and skittles where you go on a fishing mission, just stop in the supermarket, and that's all you got to worry about.
Yeah.
But I do like the business side, running a business, learning about retail. We've got the second store of JAF opening in Newmarket this year, which has been a pretty awesome, very delayed project. The first one, I think the last time, just opened Commercial Bay.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Which has been trading good,
because I started the podcast after lockdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've had, so Commercial Bay's been trading for, this is its 3rd year. Very interesting because we had no cruise ships and tourism, but cities kind of come back quite a bit.
Yep.
But with these floods and stuff, it's kind of changed. Everyone's freaking out about the city. But Newmarket's supposed to open this year, so that's quite a bit bigger store.
Yeah.
And that's got a few delays with council, but it's just normal shit.
Yeah.
So that should be open hopefully June, July.
Cool.
So we have hopefully an opening event for that.
Main.
And then we've got boat
I'll
show.
be there.
beer. Yeah, you're coming, mate.
Yeah.
And then we've got boat show coming up. So there's heaps of stuff. We just released our responsibility voyage, which is all our trying to be more responsible
Yeah,
for
I
what
want to
we
talk
do.
about this.
Yeah, so you've probably seen it on our site.
Mm-hmm.
So as you grow as a business, I guess at these day and age, you just got to be a little bit more responsible. Working through fabrics and what we do for the community, which is Anglers Escape. Now that we've raised, I think over sort of $23,000 or $24,000 for I Am Hope and Gumboot Friday, and then we do our charity with chain dogs. So my wife and I love adopting dogs, or fostering and adopting dogs. So every year we do that.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of dogs through them that we've adopted, and then we've got our bulldog that we rehomed last year or the year before. But both of our brands in our company support that every year and raise a bit of money for them because they get no funding from the government, so it's just donations.
Yeah, so chain dog, is it chained or chain?
It's chain dogs.
Yeah.
CH. Wait on.
Yeah, so I guess for the listeners, like how that works is when the SPCA can't look after the dogs anymore.
And because usually they run out of money and they might need to be put down. This is a last resort charity that they kind of take on. Especially with certain breeds, as people know, get a bad rap. So you'll see a lot of those kind of breeds. But yeah, we've been supporting them and doing stuff with them every year. My wife's got a pretty open heart to sort of rescue dogs and stuff like that. So we do that through both of our brands and MMS. So we raise money for them each year. And then we try to donate as much as possible. Yeah. And then also just with our fabrics, I think all our UPF 40 stuff will come out recycled this year. So recycled bottles. Yep. Then we're doing better cotton, which is like all our fleece range. So that's our real heavy fleece. Yeah. So that's all traceable back to the farm. So everyone is looked after. So every part of the supply chain is looked after all the way through to the garment. Yep. And then and that's the same with our knitwear, which is our RWS, which is responsible knitwear. So that's everything from merino farming all the way through to manufacturing, all the way through to factories. So it costs the consumer a little bit more, but you are doing a little bit more better part to just making sure that everyone's getting a fair go all the way through the production line. Yeah. And it's a little bit harder in New Zealand because we don't do big volumes. We're not a mass-produced brand. So, yeah, it's just little stepping stones to kind of make sure we're looking after our brand and our community and being just as good as we could possibly be. And it's a platform so we can communicate to our customers about what we are doing. Yeah. So.
People don't often talk about the good that they do, but it's important to celebrate that.
Yeah.
And it's important
and also
to
what
say,
me and Penny stand for as business owners.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether it's I think we've been in business 11 years. There's been a dog at our office every day, give and take, for 11 years. Yeah. And in our wellness room for our staff.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah. So every year my wife organises for all our staff. So just so people understand, Just Another Fisherman owns another clothing brand, Remain, and then my wife and I own the company that runs everything. But over COVID, everyone was a bit stressed out, and my wife's quite into wellness, so we introduced a wellness room for our staff to use. So that's we've got quite a high percentage of female staff. They probably just work better than us.
They're not fishing. They don't want days off for fishing.
Yeah, so there's like a infrared sauna and reformer machine that anyone can book free of charge. It's just a part of being employed by us, like our business. And it's been good. Like a lot of people have, one, saved money, but two, just being able to go and vent. Like saunas are great, man. Yeah. Hit a cold shower and then go into a sauna for fucking 30 minutes at 60 degrees, man. You can sweat, and if you're not feeling well, it's a great way to sweat out a lot of the fucking toxins and stuff like that. It's a good thing for health. Yeah. And we do a bit of that with like wellness people coming into work and stuff. So just our little bit, like costs a bit, but it's definitely trying to just try to make a healthy environment.
And it's good investment, right?
Yeah.
Because it costs money,
them.
but it's helps them, which ultimately helps the business because
it helps us.
you've got a better environment.
And we
you're
like
gonna have a happier
what we've
workplace.
learned from running. I think Penny's been in the industry for 20 odd years. Like what we've learned from working in the industry of clothing, and then what environment we want our staff to work in is like what we want to achieve, and we're proud of it. Like you know, it's if we can create that and have a healthy environment, our staff are happy and want to be at work. Like we're fucking stoked.
Yeah,
you know. And when you think about it, the long-term investment on that, it's like it's a small investment.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's fucking, But, it's good.
Yeah, the saunas, Jason talked about it, one of the directors at Good George, too, on their podcast. He was like, he swears by it. He's like, if everyone had a sauna, it would be a better world. Like, yeah. He's like, man, what it does for him, like personally, he's just like everyone.
My best routine is like if you like gym, like good gym workout, and then go on sauna, and then do like 20 minutes real hot, and because I really want to get into the ice baths.
Oh yeah.
I haven't done it yet, but fuck, I just go and do cold showers, 20 minutes, cold showers, 20 minutes.
Oh yeah.
But like, because after you've done a workout and you had like arms are pulsing, and then you're going cold and you're fucking hot, fuck, you feel so good.
Yeah.
Like, you fucking are on.
Yeah.
It's fucking mean. And it's just the endorphins must just fucking bazooka out.
Yeah, because we used to obviously do a lot of like cold therapy and that with rugby, like post trainings and like games and stuff. You definitely notice like you feel a lot better where the hot and a cold pool, like side by side.
Yeah, and you just jump in and out. Yeah. Because I swam at Rangipura every morning.
Yeah.
And fuck, just laid there, just fucking for ages. I think I saw you one morning, me and Bergie were just laying there. Yeah. I cold shower every morning now, just consistently, I think, for the last year or so. Just like warm it up and then just fucking 5 minutes cold.
Yeah.
You'll start breathing, like, if you're not used to it. But then you're like, your body's like getting invigorated and kind of. Because otherwise you just sit at that same level and you don't get hyped up to get going.
Yeah, it's interesting, Like I haven't done the cold shower thing, but like I quite often will like just turn the shower on cold and just like chuck my head under it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
feel in the back of your back, because there's so many like points that feel like colder.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh fuck.
Yeah, but it's like it's quite interesting, Like a lot of people do the like breathing techniques and different
box
things.
breathing and like I think what's Dunk's Jay Reeves, he's real into like the ice baths and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He gets into that.
Yeah.
I can see like fuck heaps of dudes talk about it, like, I haven't done it, but fuck I can imagine that like a cold swim in winter's like fucking like real invigorating. Like you're like but it's like it's pushing you to kind of circulate your body. And
when I used to surf like quite a lot, I used to love surfing in the winter more than the summer. Alright, we're back from the toilet break. We're just yarning like off here, and we were actually talking about a few bits and pieces, and we're just looking at my new outriggers here.
Yes.
The prototype ones that I've been using, but in that conversation sort of came up, and we were talking about bonds and just what you've kind of noticed as from...
Well, I've known him for he's always looked after me, and always been like really nice guy and like fucking great dude to talk to. But I've known him since, I think he even started, I think I had a little bit to do with him when he made apparel like fucking 5 years, 5, 6, 7 years ago, even longer ago. He came into our little apartment and stuff.
Yeah.
But I was just saying how fucking awesome it is that, like, when I first met him to where he is now and how dedicated he is to his craft and every single touch point. Like riggers, bases, lures, dredge system, like you've been a big part of like being able to educate and portray what he wants to say about what he does. It's so cool, especially for like a country like New Zealand where it's like it's such a cool way to fish and it does work.
Yeah.
But just the craft and a lot of the stuff and attention to detail. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, what I've really enjoyed about getting to know Bonds is like Finn. We were talking about him earlier. Mark Collins are very deep thinkers, and there's a rhyme and reason to like why their
insanity.
Why they do things, and then they like very aware of their surroundings and what's going on. But I think the biggest thing that I've like sort of taken from Bonds is like how willing he is to share his knowledge.
Oh yeah.
Because fishing's not an industry where people normally share.
No.
In years
unless you got real good buddies. It's not a.
It's not like a. But there's no secrets, Like he shares all that information, and that's what he does, and it's built like strength to the brand.
Well, I think having that confidence in your brand and then confidence in what you do, it just built his brand to be like such a powerhouse in like New Zealand marlin fishing, especially and with people like you and Brownie and a lot of the dudes running like the LG kind of system, and like I run it on my boat. Like I haven't had as much success, but we've talked about reasons why it possibly is. But I have had success with it. But he's been so humbled and helping with like me like asking him questions, or I work with another guy, Luke Davis, that has done a lot of stuff with Bonds and probably sells a shitload of his lures in his stores. Like, yeah, and he's so open. Like, fuck, he's such a polite dude, and like he deserves every fucking inch because he's put in twice as much.
Yeah,
traveling and learning and fucking.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that he spoke about it on the first podcast I think we did. He's like, a lot of the younger anglers or fishermen, they don't even they think he's just a lure maker, but they don't actually realize that he's
top
like
blue marlin.
Won the most tagged blue marlin in the Atlantic one year, and then the most released blue marlin in the Atlantic the following year. I was like, that's real badass shit. Like, all these guys that we look to on Instagram of like Bad Company World Tour and that sort of shit, like he wiped the floor with those guys when he did it, so and he did it in a shitty old boat with a crew that didn't know what they're doing, didn't speak English. So for me, what that kind of taught me is like his process and his simplicity of how he does things. Because it's technical, but it's simple at the same time. Like when you really get a really good chance to sort of, you've listened to the podcast, you can hear him talk about it. It's very simple, but if you get the chance to sit with him and dive even deeper than that, and you can see the visual at the same time, or you get a chance to fish with them, that simplicity of what he does is why it's been able to be portrayed across like multiple boats, like throughout New Zealand. And
I look at it as well as like he's got a few really good peers and buddies, like what's his name? He fishes with albatross quite a bit. Long hair.
Oh, Rosie?
Yeah. But I think having like his branding, like he's got everything. Like it seems like in the last 5 years, like branding, aesthetic, theory, like all of these fundamentals that make incredible brands, he's come into like his. Like he's got there, like it's all kind of come together.
It's all like falling into place.
And it's falling into place. And like I know for him, it's taken it. He's been making lures since he was a young kid.
Yeah.
But fuck, how cool is it to see it all fall into place for someone? Like, like for a dream when a dude loves fishing that much. And that's that whole aspect. It's not just the lure making, then he needs the branding.
Yeah.
He needs all these right people in the right places to make it all work. It's fucking awesome to see. Yeah. Especially for such a... Like, marlin fishing's pretty unique.
Yeah.
It's like he says, it's expensive, it's niche.
Yeah.
To run a brand and have top boats around the world, like Exmouth, fucking Kona, you fucking name it. It's pretty fucking Cape Verde, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like it's to be celebrated. It's fucking cool.
Yeah, and that's that thing again though, like in New Zealand we don't celebrate stuff like that.
No.
That well, like we should be
it's like
as like a fishing community as a whole, we should all be like,
Plaques.
"Oh, that is awesome! Like that is a New Zealand
like if
lure
you're
maker."
talking about like the New Zealand boat show, you start talking about like I know at the New Zealand boat show, for example, like we don't have any other option for it, but they talk about like they induct them to the boat show, and it's usually boat builders and stuff. But what about the people that have done amazing stuff for the fishing industry, where they're like incredible fishermen and craftsmen, and like all these people that they might not exhibit every year, but they've fucking done so much on putting New Zealand on the map for fishing. You know, like whether it's community or travelling around the world or top skippers or like, fuck, there's dudes running 90-foot Vikings around the world. Like Jimmy's on one, like with, what's the guy's name that runs it?
Is it James Brown?
Yeah,
No.
James.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like...
Yeah, Jimmy's with Jimmy.
Yeah,
Brown.
Jimmy's with Jimmy. Yeah. And, like, fuck, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Top boats, man.
Yeah, well, I talked to, like, Bonds about that. I was like, a lot of New Zealand skippers do well around the world, eh? And he's like, yeah, well, our fishery teaches that, because our fishery's hard, like, in New Zealand. Like, it's hard to be on the fish.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so you learn a lot from growing up fishing in New Zealand, and then you take it over into these really good fisheries with a lot of fish and areas that hold lots of fish. Those skippers do really well because
they can get numbers.
They're used to it hard, and then you go and give them you give them all the fish, and then it's like, oh well, shit, I know how to do this.
Well, look at how fucking some of the boys Wanganella numbers. So you see, Luke just came back from their first trip with Neil's new boat, and they got what, 194?
Yeah. In 4 days of fishing,
4 days of fishing.
That's crazy.
I remember when they first went up there and they got 90s.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're like, imagine if we crack 100. And they nearly cracked 200. Yeah.
Like,
pretty impressive
like,
fishing.
Yeah, and it just has to show that, I'm fucking super stoked that my brand has been a part of some of those journeys without even being there. Like, I'm very... Like, whether it's Davis or, like, Jimmy's jumping on that boat. I think a few of the boys are in crewmans now.
Oh, cool.
I sent, 15 pairs up, I think.
Yeah. Mean.
Yeah, I'm super stoked. It's... Yeah. But I wouldn't do it if I didn't meet Jimmy.
Yeah.
Or I didn't meet Luke, or I didn't meet Bonds. I'm fucking lucky to meet you. Or, I met a lot of awesome dudes. And as long as my product's up to scratch and it's handling what it's supposed to do, then... part of people's journeys, it's fucking sick. But there's some dudes in New Zealand doing some pretty cool shit. Moocher hunters, OTL dudes, land based, fucking Muzza. Lead, oh,
Muzza was the star of the show.
Willis,
hey.
Muzza had a ripper.
Yeah,
Muzza had a ripper.
He's the man. He's a good dude. Muzza would be a cool podcast, actually.
Yeah, but he loves surfing too. He's always he's fucking searching for the next wave and the next big kingy.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of dudes that fucking have great stories.
Well, that's the thing. Like, that's why I like podcasts, because anyone's interesting if you ask the right questions. You know, if you find their passion or their interest, and you can. Well, what we've talked for nearly 2.5 hours now already, and it just feels like 10 minutes,
Well, life's fun. If you think of shit interesting, you can relate to people. Fuck, there's so much shit to talk about. That's why it's not that bad being in the car for 4 hours driving north.
Yeah.
Because my wife's like, oh, what are you going to do for 4 hours? Oh, I'll ring my mate. What are you going to do? Oh, I'll ask him how he is.
Yeah.
What have you been up to? Well, how's that? What have you been doing?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. And then if you don't answer, I'll just ring Cullen. If he doesn't answer, I'll ring Jordan.
Yeah.
If Jordan doesn't ring, Mark.
Yeah.
Ring Willis.
Just go through the list.
Go through the
then
list.
You get to the end of the list and you go back
Start
the other
again.
way. Yeah, start again. Oh, yeah. Hey, bro, I missed your call. And you're like, yep, call you back shortly. Yep, sweet as.
And then if it doesn't work, I just listen to a podcast.
Yeah.
Some of those are fucking 3 hours long. So it's fuck, I'm already in. Fine, alright.
Yeah. I love travelling in the car for that reason, just to talk to people.
Yeah.
It's such a good time to just boom, you can just...
Or ring your mates overseas.
Yeah.
Fuck, I think Aussie's free now. I've got a couple of Buzzy in Newcastle and stuff that been part of JAF for ages. The Flanagans, and they're real good family friends. And just it's great. He's like, "What are you doing?" And you don't want to gloat that you're going fishing, but he's like, "Oh, I'm just driving up north to go fishing for fucking 2 days." Oh, fucking sick! What are you doing? Oh, I'm on a roof.
Yeah. Oh, me.
How's the family? But I think that's the whole thing. Like, we're talking about it at dinner about social media and our kids growing up, and it is a little bit scary.
Yeah.
Like, one, social media; two, everyone uses devices to communicate. And I think...
Well, yeah, like, you know, people will be like, "Oh, no, sorry, I don't do phone calls, just text me." Yeah.
Like, you know,
can't
like,
have a face-to-face
like we can't look like this.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool that podcasts have come around because you actually get to hear people have conversations. You get to hear them talk wrong, you know, the imperfections of like what life is supposed to be about.
Yeah.
And I think that's good. Like, cause kids, you know, kids need to learn that. It's not all perfect on technology where everything's handwritten for you on a calculator or, you know, like on a typewriter. Or I think it's good that we learn that it's not always going to be perfect.
Yeah.
And you have to look at someone in the eye.
Yeah, well, I think that's why podcasts, well, it's why I like them, is because it's almost like conversation is becoming like a lost art form. You know what I mean? Like, I did some coaching, I've done some coaching the last few years at St. John's with the local college here with their sevens program. And then some of the boys went at training, and then I was like, "Oh, where's so-and-so?" And the boys were like, oh, I don't know. And then I was like, "Oh, have you got his number?" Nah. And I'm like, "What do you mean you don't have his number? He's your best friend. He's on your phones like all the time. Like, surely you've got his number." No, we just Snapchat. So like they're at the point they don't even ring their mates on their phones. They just
talk.
Snapchat. They just take a photo, send a photo, and then write a little caption like, I don't know, 4 words or something at a time. Yeah. So it's like, what? Like, do you guys not even like talk? I'm like, no, we just Snapchat, or like send them a message on Instagram. And
or Facebook like, Messenger.
Yeah.
There's no conversation anymore.
Nah.
There's no one-on-one, like... So, like, it's kind of something like this where you sit down with someone and have a chat. It's fucking... And that's a good part about Angler's Escape tent. Like, you have a chat.
Yeah.
Or in your cabins or wherever you end up.
Yeah. Just anywhere.
But I don't think there's a lot of, like, "Oh, Mister, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
You know, like,
nah.
it's just you go and see it.
Don't even pull the bloody phone out the whole time I'm there. Like, pull out once a day to...
It's quite refreshing, and I think it's like... Because we all know how many people sit on their phones. But going away with your buddies and...
That's actually quite... I'm just thinking about that now.
Should we ban phones at Angler's?
No, I'm just thinking, like, when I'm sitting in the tent, you don't see any of that.
No.
You know what I mean? You go to a restaurant, you
I
see
watched
everyone
the South Sea
on their
Sparrows, because you saw the South Sea Sparrow against I've got the draft to the episode.
Yep.
And it's fucking sick. It's cool because they're trying to spearfish against fishermen.
Yeah.
But there was all these slow-mo like sequences of everyone on the at the tent and stuff. No phones.
Not a single phone, eh?
Well, like, there might be like the odd video of like dudes.
Someone taking a video but not sitting there on it, eh?
Not like when you're in a pub and you see dudes like...
Yeah. Scrolling or whatever, eh? Yeah.
Like, I think, like, in that environment, when you kind of make the effort to go up there, you either want to be in the moment, or you're so tired you want to go to sleep.
Yeah. It's either, eh?
Yeah, or you're saying goodnight to your kids.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think...
walk out, have a phone call, and then...
Yeah, but it's not like, oh, I'm so fucking bored by my hair.
Yeah.
Like, everyone kind of feels like everyone wants to be there.
Yeah.
You know?
Pretty cool, like, thinking back about that, actually. I didn't even realise, but...
Yeah, it was fun. Looking forward to organising it.
Yeah.
Raise a bit more money and get to see everyone again, because we probably won't see them for another year.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys there, eh, that you don't cross paths with.
No, or you might see them along the way, but like there's a few that you will see quite a bit.
Yeah.
And reconnect with, but there's a few that you just won't see till next year. I think that's kind of another beautiful part about it.
Yeah, I think that's like the cool thing too, is like those people that you kind of cross paths with like on a regular basis. You probably don't spend too much time with them there because you're like, well, I'm going to see you anyway, I'll go see the others. But I did notice that this year I actually probably spent a lot more time with like Woody and Logie than the other years gone by. But there was that one night that they stayed out on the boat, the first night, so they weren't there that night. But Yeah, because normally in the past it's like I spend all the time with, you know, like Finn and Henry and Jordan and like those sort of boys because I don't get to see them much.
I should mix it up, the tents and things, and then like mingle everyone in the middle because it'll get people like mingling a little bit because it's been that same sort of crew in the middle.
Yeah.
Because I do all the sleeping plans.
Oh yeah,
just like log everyone out.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's always good fun.
Yeah. No, it's been it's been a wicked, like, sort of, I guess, journey into like a whole bunch of new friends, you know, like it's been real interesting because you look at a lot of those guys and you think like, man, like I reckon I'd get on with him, you know, like just from what you see, and then once you actually get to know the person, you're like, oh shit, we're like so similar. Yeah,
and even some of the new, I think we had a few new dudes, a few guys left from the second year and came in the new year, and I think it was a good like fucking group of dudes. Like we had dudes from Te Puke that I'd like skateboarded with.
Oh yeah,
Josh Gibson and stuff. Invited up, and they fucking loved prize giving. Just like Bryce and the giveaways and everyone like re-raffling and stuff. And like it had a real. I was even talking to Bryce. He said like, "Fuck, that prize giving was humming."
Yeah, it was.
Even though there was a storm coming, it was pissing with rain. Like, and just the boys kept it going, man. It was fucking.
Yeah, there's a lot of buzz there, Like for that prize giving. I feel like the other prize givings, everyone's kind of been like, oh, let's just get prize giving over so we can just yarn.
But raffle was on.
Yeah, but this time, it was like, it was awesome. There was so much like, sort of hype around it. The raffle was mean, and like how cool, like the guys that have obviously got.
They get
they get stuff. They're up. They win a prize. They walk out. You know,
like Sam. Brownie raffled off one thing, raised another $500, and then
he won
his biggest kawai.
Which was like a soft bait rod in real way.
Yeah, he raffled that off, and then
he won in the raffle. He won the wetsuit,
and then he raffled that off, and Jake bought it.
Yeah.
So he raised another $1,000 for mental health.
Yeah, and then Jake was saying that his son used the call line when he was going through some stuff. So he was like, So that was why he. Like he was like, well, my son would have used, you know, $500 worth of support, like when he needed it. So it was easy for me to say, yep, like because you know we've directly benefited from.
That's so
from
fucking
that.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
And again, like people like Bryce Casey, they've done so much for that charity, and I guess everyone, if you haven't seen it, you should probably watch it on like their rock Instagram about how much Mike King puts into it.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of kids. Like we're very lucky. We have like any effort you can do to support people, like whether it's like kids or dogs or just anything. Like fuck, just if you have energy, do it. There's a lot of reward in it. But he's done so much. Well, the Rock's done a lot, and then the least we can do to, you know, a fishing trip for the boys is just get away and then also raise some money. It's fucking, it's fantastic.
Yeah, and it's a changing world. Like this, everything's so different.
And look at the world we're living in, COVID and storm. Like this is a pretty turmoil kind of environment. I mean, also you've got like media, which is always pretty dismal. So any positives are fucking good one, eh?
Yeah, it's interesting, eh? When are they going to change the narrative and focus on the positives? Like it's just
never, because it's like because they just read America and do that. I have no idea. Just work. I think the thing is that all of those dudes work hard to get there. They deserve time out.
Yeah.
It's just one thing. Everyone deserves it.
Yeah.
You're a better person for it. You go home better to your wife because you're having time out. Like everyone needs it. It's
like I've talked about that like a bit on the podcast and just in general. Is like I like long to go fishing. You know, like I can't wait to go. But then once I go, like I also have that same feeling at the end of the day to go home.
Yeah.
You know, like
I miss my wife all the time. Yeah,
I can't wait to see the boys. Well, yeah, when I'm out there in the moment, I'm not necessarily thinking about that because I'm focusing on fishing. But when it comes time to go home and I know fishing's over, I'm like, oh man, I'm so excited to tell them what I saw today and like, you know, like, oh, we saw dolphins. Like Marie's like spewing because she's been with me 3 times. She finally did her first trip without catching a marlin. I took her out this year. We went out when I got back from Kona. We went out off the back of the Aldermans, and the first day she's done without catching one. Nah, and Mason came with us, yeah. And then
he went east.
Yeah, we went out east. We were just up at Mum and Dad's. They bought a new batch, so we're helping them shift. And there's a nice day of weather, so we shot out and. Yeah, that was her first day, and all she wants to do is see dolphins. She's done 3 days and caught 2 marlin, and she's like, "Oh, I just want to see a dolphin."
They're like, "Go away, dolphins."
Yeah, normally it's like, "Oh, bloody dolphins." But yeah, that being out, you know, and sort of away, it creates that balance because then you're in that you put yourself in that scenario where you're now thinking about, well, okay, I've done that. Now I want to go and do that. I want to go see.
And you appreciate. I think and you appreciate, because you know the anticipation to going takes your mind away from what's in front of you, which is probably your kids and stuff, because you're worried about going.
Yeah.
But then when you go away, then you come back, you've fulfilled your little cup inside, and then you get back and you're like ready to give back and. I think
and be like present.
Be present and be with your partner.
Yeah,
and I think you saw that like at the Anglers Escape. Like I think a lot of boys felt that way. Like they didn't go hard at prize giving.
Yeah.
And you woke up and everyone gone.
Yeah. We're like, everyone's out of here.
Yeah. Like because I think everyone they've done 3 days. And they'd fulfilled and they've done prize giving, and enjoyed it, and like happy to ready to go home to the kids and. Get home and spend the afternoon with them, but I think you go to fill your cup and then take the cup home and give it back, and it's a fun event. I fucking love it. Never change. Like super stoked to be able to do it, and fucking the people that we met. It's just incredible. Yeah. The relationships built.
When the Flanagan boys meant to come over?
Yeah, we're both getting married this year.
Oh, okay.
And stag do's and
yeah.
They'll be back.
Stag do it rangy putter.
yeah.
It's like
there'll be like 90 Australians coming.
We just don't pick on one person.
Yeah. Don't get Brownie involved in the stag do.
Yeah.
Nah, but they'll be back over soon enough.
Yeah.
I've been to rangy putter though.
Oh, they have?
Yeah. Did Caught on the Coast.
Oh,
campaign.
Yeah.
Is
that
that's
where
we
was?
first went.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah.
But it was like 30 knots onshore, so you couldn't even launch at the beach, and we were like driving the ring. I think we launched there one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they've been there before.
Oh, cool.
That's how we found it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. Caught on the... I'm just trying to think what campaign that one was.
Summer. Shot in winter.
Yeah. Did you cook kawa in the frying pan on the fire on the beach? Is that one?
Nah. It's the one we had quite like... Jeremy was there with like Chum Bucket.
Oh, yeah,
which now Nick Jones has because it's owned by John Ray.
Yeah.
Cam Halliday was there with his Stavy Craft.
Yeah.
My boat. And then... I think that was it. Maybe. Mark Collins was there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it was Mark, Jeremy, Flanagan brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a cool trip.
Yeah.
Went land-based fishing and caught a whole lot of snap. I caught 2 20-pounders where Brownie caught a 27.
Oh, true.
Yeah, in one morning.
Yeah.
Nah, Jeremy got a 20-pounder. He got like an 84 or something. And then we got an 81, same spot.
Dang.
Yeah.
Just right there, just outside the harbour.
Yeah.
Crazy.
There's a big snapper there.
It's an amazing fishery, that place.
That kingy fishery though, that afternoon or that day at those islands, fuck.
I've never seen anything like that. Like quality of fish,
consistent,
big, like
always
big.
over a metre.
like over like 20 kilos. Like
Yeah.
Muzz got three off the bat, like bang, bang, bang. Well, no, I think he got one that was like 18, and then he caught 3 in a row, 22, 28, and then that one that was, what was it, 138,
it's just fucking-
138, 137.
It's just fucking ridiculous.
Big fish. Yeah, and then like
I don't
you know,
know.
Brownie got dusted. Like, yeah, I raised one on stick bait. That was like, whew, that's a big fish. And then Jimmy got a 128. Like,
Yeah.
on a stick
He
bait.
was on top. He was on top of the leaderboard. Eh? I got my mate Simo. He just went and had a stick bait at lunchtime. I made him an Azarat.
Yeah.
Fish Azarat, then taught him how to stick bait. First fish was 116 centimeters.
Sick. That's a good one.
Yeah. It's like heading.
But what do the boys reckon? Like Finn was saying that basically 120 is 20 kilos, and then every centimetre over is.
I mean, it depends on their length and girth, but
and
that's kind of it's the same with like a snapper over 80 is usually 20 pound.
Yeah.
But then you can get 79 centimeters that are 22 pounders.
Yeah.
It's kind of that's how they kind of run it.
Yeah.
So if you get a 130, like I measured a couple of 130 centimeter ones on Rick Pollock's boat, and they were 20. He estimated them at 30 kilos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you get to 140, and then they're in the 40 kilo bracket.
Yeah.
But it just depends.
Yeah.
Then you get to 150,
Yeah.
which only Mark and a few other the boys have ever seen.
Yeah.
And they're donkeys.
Yeah. Well, Mark reckons he's seen the world record, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that angler wanted to let it go. And he reckons it's the only fish he's ever wanted to kill on pursuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, they caught some big kingfish.
Yeah.
Like, we caught some rippers too. Like, we caught some real rippers on that boat, but fuck, nothing in that caliber.
Mm. Yeah, for Mark Collins to say that was the world record, like, that's... He's seen a lot.
Yeah. He's seen a lot of big kingfish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because what is the world record?
52 kilos, I think.
Yeah. Like 51.4 or something. There's 2
Yeah.
identical fish, eh?
Yeah, I think
Same
so,
weight.
but I think Rick's weighed it or taken in a couple that definitely bet it, but fucking sat in the slurry or like you said, got released.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
Mm.
How's the dog shit? Like catches them on dog shit.
Yeah.
And shit.
Yeah. Pretty different, like, fishery, back then. Imagine trying to catch one on dog chain now. You'd never get a bite.
But it'd be so honed in.
Yeah.
Like even like 80 pound. I was fishing 80 pound on my live baits.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're 130.
Yeah. You just if they're hungry, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But if they're
No.
not, shit.
Yeah. It was quite interesting because the boys had Mackies and they were getting
But like, one after
they're getting
another.
more bites, but little fish,
Yeah.
like smaller fish. When I say smaller, like I think Jonesy got a nice one. I don't know how big it was, but the boys said he got one nice one. But all the other fish I watched them sort of pull up like so that 10, 12 kilo bracket.
Yeah.
But all the ones that ate the car wise that the boys had out, the bigger baits, like 20 kilo plus, every one. Yeah. And then Jimmy, I don't think Jimmy caught any little ones either. On the
Didn't he
stick
get
bait
his
or
big one
live
on the
fish.
stick bait or
Yep.
live bait?
No, all stickies. He caught 6, all on stick bait. He was the only one catching on top water. Henry got 1 on top water. Muzz and Leaf, nothing. Just they were raising them. That's why they started live baiting.
Fuck, that session
They
we
were
had
biting.
was so much fun.
Yeah, you still getting heaps, eh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went to the first reef where you got the work up.
Mm.
So I fished there first, and that's where Simo got his. And then we went into that other reef in the inside where that I think Mark just posted some footage of that
Oh, yep.
126 or 124 he got. But that bit right at the chainsaw, like at your feet.
True.
Yeah, like and then fucking peeled him, man. Like railed him fucking hard. It was a good fucking fight to watch because I was right. My boat would have been the length of this like room away from him when he got bit.
Yeah.
We're just casting over each other, and we've just got one, and we're getting double hookups. And we've got a few fish like 110 and stuff, and then he hooked that one, and we're just fucking yelling at him. Mate. Pretty hooting by then. Fuck, it was good value.
Yeah, we watched Henry get smoked. Like, pulled hooks
smoke?
on a real nice one, yeah. Yeah, like Jimmy cast, like, because they were just loving he had a white carpenter, and they were just,
Jimmy
like,
was?
Jimmy Ham, yeah, and he was just slaying them on that. And then Henry was just casting all day. He reckons for like I think caught one. It was like a little 64 centimeters or something. Like nearly the size of Brownie's kahawai. And he was like, it's the only fish I caught all day. And then we went around on the inside because all the fish were on the outside, and we went around on the inside of the island, and then like Jimmy like cast out a couple of sweeps, raised one, and then we sort of pulled up beside them. Brownie cast out, and then Henry cast it out, and then he raised one, and then Jimmy. Oh no, that's right. Henry was in the process of rigging the live bait, but then when Jimmy raised one, he was like, "Fuck!" Picked up the rod and cast it out and dropped the live bait on the floor. And then Jimmy got bit and went to hit it, and he stood on the live bait, fell over, so he ended up missing the fish, like fell on his ass, and then he like got up and like wound in, casted it back out, and then Henry goes, "Oh bro, the live bait's by your foot," so he put the rod like in the rod holder, still the bow arm open, and the live bait or the stick bait's just sticking in the water, like just sticking up, floating. He bends down, picks the live bait up to put back in the live bait tank, and the kingy just smokes his stick bait, and it's just like his line's going out. He comes, and then he like misses that one. And he's like, "Oh!" And then Henry casts out, and then hooked like a real nice one. We saw it. Brownie raised one, and then he ended up hooking one, and we just seen it bite, and it was just like, "Oh, it's a big fish." And when you're like on the stick bait rod, full in the harness, like. And he's like sitting down his butt, like pretty much just off the ground, and the rod's just folded out straight, just like getting owned. It was mean. It's cool to watch.
Yeah, Simo hadn't used a long rod like that, and that first fish destroyed him, because he couldn't get his posture, because he's quite tall.
He is tall, eh?
Yeah, and he was leaning over, and I'm like, "You're gonna die, dude."
Yeah.
You gotta sit on these things.
Yeah.
Like,
there's a real technique to use.
Yeah, and then the next fish, I'm like, when it pulls, just sit on the butt, pull it down and sit.
Yeah.
Because then all the power goes through the butt, and you're not like arching. He's like, fuck. Because like even 7 kilos of drag pulling over your back of your shoulders, you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, with that leverage, it's up long. So,
fuck, this hurts. I was like just laughing.
Yeah.
Wind, do we?
Yeah, wind. Yeah, we kind of like Brownie got dusted because he had a stick bait rod to start with. You know,
for live baiting.
Yeah, but then we'd after he got dusted off and we retied, we cut it off and put the reel onto a jigging rod. Yeah, it's a bit easier to handle. That's what I had it on.
So you still spin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still spin.
Fucking get so much power on a spin on a jig rod.
I struggle the way because I'm short.
You hit the gunnels or
struggle to get leverage. I can't get. My boat's all good because I got low sides, so I can get over the side. But Brownie's boat, it's a little bit high for me, so I get bugger all leverage, in terms of lift. But I was getting dusted anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. Yeah. And then Brownie's like, "Fucking wine barrel, we're never gonna fucking know." He's like, "Just let me have a look at it," and I'm like, "I'm fucking trying." Yeah, but it's amazing, eh? It was the most intense, I don't know, 4 to 6 minutes probably.
Oh, it is, especially in shallow water.
Full on, we're in 14 metres and just...
Yeah. That's the thing, that's the difference, I think any style of fishing, you put yourself... It becomes more intense and kind of fun if you kind of look at it as fun.
Mm.
The shallower you go... It becomes more of a team effort. Driving and fucking intensity and yelling and shit. It's a bit of a fucking hoot.
Yeah.
Yelling at your mate and fuck, it's so much fun.
Yeah, well, it was Brownie's fish.
And Brownie yells.
Yeah.
He's yelling.
But Brownie's fish, because I was obviously driving, but when he got bit, I must have been stick baiting at times, so I'd get the rod in, and then when it's someone else's boat, it's always harder to drive, because it's you don't know it.
Yeah.
If it's my boat, where reverse is,
and you know how fast you go in reverse.
Yeah. You know how far you can pull it back, and you're not going to throw the angler on the ground because it bites and takes off or whatever. So, yeah, there was probably a big definitely a factor into why his one busted him off, and why my one didn't, because he was driving.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
like he was driving his boat, and he's like on it, and like
So you stayed above that fish most of the
just
time?
stayed above it the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, Muzz and that were different, eh? Like,
Yeah, you see, he
they
drives
just hook
off,
it straight away,
drive
drive
off.
out. Yeah. And
They
just hold
fish
on.
that area quite a lot.
Mm.
It's like, because me
It's
and
quite deep, where they went far out, and without landing those fish, they're in like 45 metres of water.
Yeah, so they know the
And
reef.
we're in like 14.
Yeah, they know the reef then.
Yeah.
But like, there's two options. It's the same with snapper fishing. If you hook one real shallow,
Yeah.
you kind of want to stay above it. Because then...
No angle on the line, they can't rub
No,
you
I
on
mean, they
anything.
can't go around bommies and rub
Yeah.
you off. Like, you can actually follow it around the bommy, but... Just depends if there's a bommy out of the water in front of you.
Yeah.
But that's the fun of it.
Yeah.
Like, it just adds another element to the fishing, and like, it's not just like leisure fishing in the Gulf. It's fucking you're
Sporty.
hunting, and it's real sporty, and it's fucking rewarding. Like real rewarding.
Yeah. I think that's why I really enjoyed like marlin fishing too. It's the team aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like whether you've got, two of you on board or 3 or 4 or 5, like everyone plays like a part in it, and you can all enjoy that capture of the fish. Like I don't give a shit
I don't
about
want to
winding
catch
them in.
Nah.
Like, yeah.
I just want to catch them on the boat.
Yeah.
I got one for Bryce.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have talked about that either.
No.
We got one, Bryce's first marlin, and he stole one off my son. That was like a good buddy of mine told me there was a real good bite at the Barrett, and that's one of those ones where like I had a day, and I went out.
And the fish were there.
Fish were there.
Yeah.
Fish were all over actually.
Yeah.
Got like 3 bites, but yeah, cooked a double, and fuck, it was a bit on. Scout was like in the back corner, and Bryce was running, and Bryce ended up losing his. It was just had fucking on the surface of their bill, just fucking going ape shit, and I'm like wind faster to keep a little bit of tension on, but just fucking spat the hooks. But we got one fish in the end, but fuck, all the team was stoked. But fuck, it was cool. We had like 3 fish up, I think.
Yeah.
Scout was on. Bryce was asleep.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, Scout was like eyes on, eh?
Yeah.
He spotted the first one, and then
Yeah.
hooked 2, and then he had another one up on the teaser. On the dredge coming up.
Yeah.
So, Dad, there's another one.
Yeah.
But no, it was good fun.
Sick. Scout would have been loving it.
Yeah, he's fucking he up at like 3:30, and he finally crashed out like 3:30 in the afternoon after like we kind of tagged it and let it go, and he crashed out in the cabin.
Yeah. He's like, job done.
Yeah, he's so happy, eh? And he's like, is he dead? Yeah. But nah. You remember those moments though, eh? Like Bryce had been through, like he just had his second kid in hospital. So he was real knackered and tired. But again, it was one of those things you just go and like everything his cup got filled up, and it was a great experience. And
it's that juju thing again, eh? Like the universe is
a
little bit of,
because a lot of you go 5 times, and if you only go one day, you never catch anything. It's like it was just one of those moments that kind
meant to happen.
Yeah. Fully deserved it, and all the crew were cool, and it was fucking sick.
There's something to that though, eh? On a boat, like you get good people on a boat, good things happen.
Bring good vibes.
Oh man, like I'd say that all the time. Like when people come fishing, like what can I bring? And I was like, just a good attitude, like
positive energy.
Yeah.
It means a lot, eh?
Yeah, and there's because you never know, like.
Oh, you might hook a fucking grand.
The fish of a lifetime. Like that's what I always say. That's why I love fishing. Is because you literally never know. Like that next swell you drive over, or the next bait you drop, or the next cast you throw, could be the fish of a lifetime.
Yeah.
Like the biggest fish ever caught, or
even that
might not
soft
even
bait
be
in the
biggest.
shallows. You just drop it. That might be a 32-pound snapper on a soft bait.
Yeah.
And your mate's going to drive on it. You're going to catch it.
Yeah.
And it was all fucking meant to be.
Yeah. Well, it's like you guys going snapper fishing and you catch a 145 centimetre kingfish.
On top of it.
Yeah. Like, you never know what the day is going to bring.
But people would spend heaps of money going on topwater trips to do that. But
the fish ain't there, you can't catch it.
Nah. I mean, if But then if you've got a good vibe and you're hanging out with a good
Yep.
friend and you've got a positive attitude,
Yeah. It's funny
shit
how
can
that shit
happen.
happens, yeah.
Because I got heaps of good Mark. Like, fuck yeah. You were saying before with Mark, like, just one of my buddies that I just have good fishing trips with. We haven't always caught fish, but we don't give a fuck. But we got swords in my little trailer boat and got stuck on a
That's right.
sandbar and
Yeah.
got fucking flooded. And it's like, you caught a blue nose there, and it winded up in its fucking sword.
Did he call it a blue nose?
Yeah, he
You
was
hooked
just fucking with me.
it? Oh, did he?
Yeah, he does that shit.
Yeah.
You know, just so I wouldn't pick. Because he doesn't want me to get too excited.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he's so calm.
Yeah, yeah. He
So
is,
stop
eh?
fucking calm down, Aaron.
Yeah, yeah. Like, yeah.
It's a fucking sword mark. Yeah, it's sweet, Aaron. It's sweet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. He knew the whole time.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Sweet. Yeah, it was quite interesting, like, taking him out this year on my boat, and then we hooked that marlin, obviously Dan's first marlin.
And your rigger broke.
Yeah, and the rigger broke. But, like, having Dan, like, on his first fish, and then having, like, Mark there, because he was just,
He's
like...
seen like 200 marlin.
Yeah, but, like, just this, like, his mannerism to an angler, you know? Because it's, like, obviously his first one. Mark knew that. And just the way he, like, spoke to him, you know? Like, he's very assertive and direct, but calm at the same time. Like, he's like, oh, you need to do this and then do this.
So you didn't talk?
Not really. Didn't really need
Did
to.
Mark talk?
Yeah. Like, well, we just I kind of explained...
How your boat works?
Yeah, I just kind of explained to Dan, because Dan's been fishing with me. That was probably, like, the third time I've taken him out. So he kind of knew the run of the mill and the, like, how it was all going to go down, and, like, you know, when we get on, you go in this position or whatever. But then, like, Mark would just, like, talk to him, because the fish ended up... It must have been wrapped, and we had we were full sunset granny gear trying to lift this thing.
Oh,
yeah.
because it died, eh?
Yeah, no, it was actually alive by the time we got it up. But it ended up being hooked in the side, so it must have been like wrapped. The tension came off the hook, came out of its mouth, slid up, and then as it unrolled itself, like, because at one stage it all went slack, and we're like, oh fuck, we've just popped it off. And then it loaded up again, and then when we pulled it up, it was hooked in the side, so it must have been wrapped up or whatever. But, like, just listening to Mark explain to him, like, how to use the swell and how to, like...
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just, like, he's very... There's no, like, sugarcoating it, but
He
it's
just talks
firm.
straight up.
Yeah. It's firm and direct, but it's not... it's not talking down, or it's not, like, aggressive, but it's just, like... But this is how you do it.
Yeah.
Like... Yeah, because we're like up on the drag, and he didn't want to go up on the drag because he's like, oh, it's like gauge hooks, like, I don't want to lose it. And it's like, well, you're never going to know. Like, if we do that, we can't do this all day. Like, we're literally getting no line. Like, every time you squat down, the line comes off the reel. So you got to go up on the drag. Yeah. And then we had it on Sunset, which I think on Metallica's is like 17 kilos.
Yeah.
A lot. Like, it's a lot of drag.
Didn't
Oh, 16, sorry.
Didn't bend them out?
Nah, it was... The hook was perfect, we literally pulled the fish up sideways, like 120 kilo striped marlin, hooked in the side, and we pulled it up on its side. Yeah, it was just like, oh, okay, that's how you do it. Granny gear, fucking granny gear for 20 minutes. Like,
I think that's that back to the thing I think you've talked to Bonds about, like fishing with confidence. Yeah, you just have to.
Yeah,
you get another chance. Like, you will get another chance.
Yeah.
But you have so much more fun fishing with confidence than fear.
Yeah.
On all styles of fishing.
Yeah.
Just have fun. Enjoy it. It's there to have fun, because, like, you can go fishing again.
Yeah.
You'll hook another one. It's not like you catch that one and then you're into your marlin career. Unless that's all you want.
Yeah.
But you'll wake up in the morning and just go again.
Yeah. It's like, sweet, we'll come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about that. We're like, fuck, we're going to come tomorrow? Because the next day was even flatter.
Really?
But the next day was actually... It didn't bite that good, eh? Like, that day went real good. That's the day Luke got, like, 9 bites, I think. Luke Davis.
Oh,
he came down and fished next to us. Yeah, I gave him the marks, and he came down from Port Waikato. And, yeah, they had an awesome day. He had, like, 4 bites by, like, 11. And we had nothing. And then obviously I had the new Suzuki on the boat. That was the first day we took it out.
You freaked out.
And everyone's like, oh, bro, have you seen anything? I was like, nothing. And it's like, oh, that new motor's not doing its job. And then everyone was sort of, you know, a bit of banter on the radio. And then 10 minutes later, we raised a double, and I was like, "Oh, sweet, the motor works." Yeah, but it fell off, like the 1.8, and fell off, and then then we ended up raised that one, snapped that out, snapped my prototype outrigger, just clean, and then came
You
across.
hooked it still though?
Nah, not that one. Nah, we ended up that one didn't, and then when we were sorting out the outrigger, another one came in on the other side, like about 3 minutes later.
Oh, on the other rigger.
Yeah, on the other rigger, and ate that one, and we caught that one.
Was Mark like this place? Because every time I've been on the West Coast with him,
Yeah,
I've only fished a couple of times on the West Coast out of Manukau and stuff. He's like, "Fuck, this place is fishy."
yeah,
Because sometimes East Coast is so quiet.
yeah. You just sort of doesn't feel like you're gonna catch.
Nah, and
You're
the
so
West
trying.
Coast is just like, "Fuck, there's got to be fish here." Like, I've
Yeah.
had a few quiet days out Manukau,
Yeah.
but sometimes it just feels like they're there, right?
Yeah, no, they were there. We had a good day, and all our fish came off the same mark. Like, we raised 4, and they were all on the same spot pretty much. So
That's pretty fucking on, eh?
yeah, so then I went back that spot the next trip and got one. Was it one that trip? Yeah. Then went back again and got 2. Went back again and got another 2. Then went back again and got
I
the
was
triple.
just in my office.
Yeah. But it's like, if they're there, like, that's how you catch them. It's not
I-
magic, eh? Like,
I
it's-
just have to come down. Like,
Mm.
fuck. The
Hopefully
only
it turns
the
on
only
again.
excuse is in my mind, bro. I
Mm.
know that for a fact. But like what you say, like, you need to be able to fucking stop what you're doing.
Mm-mm.
But-
Yeah, exactly.
That's all.
Is there anything we haven't covered? We've gone
Nah.
for 3 hours.
Really? Fucking hell.
You said 3 hours, though, eh?
Yeah, I did say 3 hours. We actually talked for about 9 hours because we just hung out on the
Yeah, we talked for 6 hours over dinner.
I'm just stoked to be back, dude. It's nice to catch up in person again. I didn't really see you catch up much of the Angler's Escape, but always fucking happy to see what you're doing. It's fucking awesome to see you fucking supporting what dudes are doing in the fishing industry and actually just making people talk. It's pretty important. So, I know you got a long list of fucking humans to fucking interview.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
You have to get Bryce Casey too one day.
Yeah, I asked Bryce last year. It might have even been the first year at Angler's Escape, and he said he would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Just
was like,
linking them up.
yeah, it's just like, I just need to, like,
You got a bit on. I know you
life
had.
got a little bit busy.
Yeah, and
there
you got
for
a new
bit.
job coming up.
Yeah, well, that's not public yet, but yeah,
Yeah.
we'll be able to share that soon.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, that's just life though. But
Yeah.
I'm very blessed to be able to pop on here and have a chat. It's nice
Mm.
to just sit down and talk,
Yeah,
catch up with the family and stuff. It's been real cool.
yeah, and it's good to, like, you know, like for me, I really, obviously, it's clear to everyone that listens, I value the brand and you as a person, so it's awesome for me to be able to share light on the brand, you know what I mean? And to show the people why like, well, not show them, but, well, yeah, I suppose it's showing them, but showing them through listening to why that alignment is there.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So try and really connect you to...
I think, like, even just talking about how much of our friends link up now and like all that sort of stuff. I think it, like, I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint what brings us all together.
Yeah.
One, it's fishing, but
it's
there's
more
a
than
lot.
that,
It's
though, eh?
more than
Like,
that.
yeah.
Like, just the way that we have ended up all kind of being friends and having the same values, and whether it's life or family or anything, like, I think is the biggest part. And if we all kind of stick to that and enjoy our lives, I think most things, hopefully everything will be fruitful, and if it's not, we'll be supportive of each other. And hopefully one day Anglers Escape is a bunch of fucking 70-year-olds and our kids.
Yeah.
You know, like, one day is a dream, or as I say to Mark all the time, like, fuck, one day I'll get to JAF and be a campaign and fucking the kids are doing it, me and him are just old men on the flybridge.
Yeah.
But, you know, like,
Yeah.
and it's like they fucking tease us, like, well, we've done it in 4-metre boats, we've done it in
Yeah.
5, we've done it in 6.
Yeah.
Nah, it's a pretty cool journey, and fucking stoked to be able to kind of portray it a little bit and vocal words with you. And
Yeah.
fucking much love as always.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But I think you're gonna give a little shout out with a little discount for the listeners. So we'll sort that out, and you can voice that over later on, and I'll sort that out. But
Mean.
yeah. Thanks for having me again.
Nah, shot, bro.
Cheers,
Legend.
Cheers, brother.
Mean.